Okay, he sees it now. Sorry, he thought we did talk on Discord last night. Yeah, that's my fault. We did talk on Discord last night, so maybe you thought I was going to use Discord. It just works.
Oh,
It just works better for me. Audio pass through works on Hangouts, and for some reason it doesn't on Discord.
well, no big deal. I just I like Discord, but you know I get it. Some people don't like Discord because apparently it's for pedophiles.
Well,
So
I just yeah, I know. I know that. Oh, Discord's evil. I never believed that. Right? Like, you can't use Discord. It's crazy to use Discord. I got banned on there so many times. I used to have a really vibrant Discord community, but I got banned so many times. Now they've kind of lightened the load a little bit. They don't ban as heavy, and I have an account on there, and I just haven't bothered with it. But that's kind of why I got sour on Discord.
you know, hey, speaking of that, you need to come back to YouTube.
I think so too.
Well, like there is no, do you know how many times I've been banned from YouTube?
Several. And Gator tried to blame me for one of them, and it turns out it was, and I didn't, by the way. It was some Red Bar fan who reported you.
Yeah.
But
I know that.
Yeah, you know that. You posted about it, yeah. But,
yeah, I know that. I did a whole show about that guy and his wife, his murderous wife.
See, me and you got a lot in common, I gotta say.
There's certain things we have in common, for sure. But there's no reason not to have a YouTube. Like you can just keep making them. You know what I mean? You just got to come back to YouTube, man.
Well, you know what? I think I might do that. You're not you're the latest person to tell me that. They're like, dude, first off, they're letting everybody back on, and second off, just make a new channel.
Just make a new one. As long as it's an account that's not connected to anything you've used before, you can just keep making channels. I'm now on my like 20th channel or something like that. It doesn't even matter. Just build that shit back up. Don't even monetize it either. That just gets you in trouble. Just get on YouTube. That's where people can see stuff easier. Send them over to Rumble. Who cares? But as long you need that presence over there on YouTube, you know.
Yeah, because some people just won't come to Rumble, and YouTube's the biggest website in the world, and it's like, you know, basically I'm an idiot for not being over there. And so many people are coming back, and like you said, just build it up. Don't connect it to any of your old stuff, and if it gets banned, just make another one. Like, right? Like, who cares? So that was good advice. I heard you gave M. Holt an offer. I was always, you know, we've had our various feuds or whatever, but we've been cool at certain times too. And I would say that this is one of those times. We had a good combo last night, a really interesting one.
Very interesting. There's some very strange things actually said in that conversation.
Let's leave it.
Reveal anything.
No, you promise. But yeah, I feel like not too many people know, and it's like one of those things I just kind of wanted to get off my chest a little bit, and it was like because so much insanity, and I couldn't imagine telling you that last year at this time, but I trust you.
Can I mention the one thing that you said you didn't care if I say? Or do you even remember? You might not remember what it was, so I won't say it. But
well, just type it. Send it in my Twitter DMs.
Okay.
And then I'll let you know. But yeah, we talked for a while.
But it was mostly about this one thing, which had nothing to do with the show.
Right.
I just sent it to you.
I know. Hold on. Yeah, I know. It's about this insane thing that would literally just, what did I say? It would feed the sector for generations.
Oh, well, there's that too. Yeah, there's something coming out here soon that is going to blow shit up. You know, all right, listen.
Just be careful. Shh.
I'm not going to say anything about it, but there is something on the horizon that it's insane. It's fucked up how insane it is. And by the way, I want to apologize. It's something about this Google Meet thing is making my cameras fuck up. I don't know why I'm in.
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, you're like the tech wizard too. I don't know why it's doing that either.
I've never seen this before, and I don't want to sit here and do tech, but something crazy is happening. I'll see if I can figure it out, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you can tell that. You can tell that if you want.
Okay, I can talk. So a lot of the conversation for some reason became about, and I can't even remember how we got into it.
I can't either. This conversation was all over the place, but yeah, go ahead.
You just kind of kept telling me over and over again, like how much you love sticking your thumb up a girl's asshole. And it's like, and I'm not kidding we talked for about 3.5 hours.
We did. Yes.
And I would say about 2.5 hours of that conversation were about you putting your thumb in a girl's butt. No girls in particular, by the way. I'm not saying anybody.
Nobody in particular.
In fact, it was so not in particular. You were insistent that you do this like basically with every girl.
Yeah.
And that you have them eat your asshole out and all this. It was insane, the stuff you were telling me last night. And I was like, whoa. And then you kept saying this thing. You kept going. Nah, Jesse, I don't want you. All right, you better not be recording this. I'm like, we're good, man. Stop. And then at a certain point, you were so into it. You were like, fuck it, Jesse. I want you to tell him. I want him to know. And he was like, I'm not kidding. Ethan said to me, don't lie to me, Jesse. You know how good you've done it. And I'm like, I honestly have never. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying it's bad or good. I've never done this. And then you were like, when she orgasms, you can feel her butthole squeeze on your thumb.
That's true, by the way.
And it's amazing.
That's true, by the way.
I would say you spent about 30 minutes very sensually whispering to me about how much you love to make a girl come. There's nothing gay about it. But it was sensual. It was like I was feeling vibes in the air.
Well, that's the cool part about. I mean, maybe I'm just a giving lover. I don't know, but like, I can come anytime right? Like I can just go jack off, right? Like that's
for sure,
right? Like that's easy. And the fun part for me really about sex is making the woman come and making her come a lot. And so that it might sound crazy to some people, but yeah, that's the
Hey man, same actually though.
Yeah, right. Like
you want the lady to come because that's hot because that means you're doing a good job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it's also like, oh, mission accomplished. Like she came, right? Like I can come easy. Like that's no big deal.
Yeah, you were telling me that. You were like, I can jack, Jesse, I could jack off right now. You kept saying this, and I'm like,
no, don't.
No. Hang on a second, man. I mean, this is a fun conversation and all, but I don't need a demonstration.
I didn't mean I was gonna jack off live video.
I knew what you meant, but I was terrified. There was a part of me that thought you might, you're the alpha male. You might start demonstrating at any moment. You might really need me to believe this. And again, you needed me to really believe this. You talked about this for like 2.5 hours.
It was a long combo.
It was very long, and it was a goon. It was a very goony
It was a little bit goony. And also, I was kind of manic because of this crazy situation that I talked about at the beginning as well. And it's like, anyway, then we got into an even crazier conversation about thumbs up asses and all that.
Holy shit. This thing that's coming, though. Oh, my God. I mean, people are going to lose their minds. They really are.
They really are. And we'll just leave it there because Can
I say this? No, it's not about that. It's not about that. This is about a broader topic. This is about the sector, okay? Because the thing we're mentioning, the thing we're hinting at here is going to change the sector for good. Yeah. A long time ago, like over a year ago, almost two.
1 second, I'll let this go through. Sorry.
PodAwful sent $2 on Rumble. I need Jesse to talk about thumbing girls' buttholes, but in his gay secret ran voice.
All right, we'll cue that up.
Wow, remind me. Okay,
okay, I will.
We'll come back to that. Remind me, I will do that. I'll try. It's been a while since I've heard Rand. It's been a while since anyone's heard Rand. But what was I saying? Oh, the sector thing.
Yeah.
So about 2 years ago, I said I'm going to kill the sector. I set out to kill the sector.
Yes.
And then about a year, and that doesn't mean you, Ethan, even though you are sort of the,
I'm the creator. You're
the creator of it. You're the planetoid that everything.
Without me, there is no sector. Even the people who hate me admit that, right? Like,
exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of little pockets of internet.
Yeah.
That are similar in this way that I've been sort of cataloging.
Yes.
And I realized something. Not only was the sector killing you as an entertaining person online, not that they were like I'm not saying they're getting to you or anything like that. What I'm saying is that it was, it's an Ouroboros. It was sort of a snake eating its own tail situation where the fun was being drained out of it, and I was tired of it. And there's certain people, okay, and maybe I don't know. Do we talk about them? There's certain people out there, very unentertaining, loser with like silly accent, dumb. I'm not going to get into it right this second. We're building up to something here. But there are some folks out there that all they do is talk about Ethan Ralph. And they've got entire shows that are basically the Ethan Ralph show. Now, call me crazy. I thought the Ethan Ralph show was the Ethan Ralph show. You know what I mean? Like, I talk about you every once in a while. I talk about you
Sure.
like maybe 3 times a year. There'll
Right.
be a big Ethan event. There are guys that every day they go live, they talk Ethan Ralph. So I said, I'm going to kill the sector. And the crazy thing is, there's some people that'll disagree, but it worked. I did it. I don't know if you noticed this, Ethan, but there was like a year, the past year, until basically you came on PodAwful a month ago, there was no real sector. Even the Keno Casino guys gave up on talking about Ethan Ralph at a certain point.
Yes.
And that's because me and a merry band of miscreants, sort of just stopped letting the fun flow in the sector. And while you continued on,
Sure.
the economy of Ethan Ralph, all the people who feed off of you, these remora fish that are eating underneath your fins, it died off for them. They had to find new places to go, and it kind of livened the internet up again, and it gave you a chance to breathe again too. So
Well,
I only want to say this because I want to address anybody who might be watching. For me, anybody who watches me, they go, well, Jesse, I even got a message like this. Why are you breathing life into the sector? I thought you hated the sector. You wanted to kill the sector. And it's not that I hated it. It's that I just thought it would be funny to watch it die. And it was. And now it'll be funny to breathe new life into it. So I do want to say, when I invited you onto my program a month ago, which was a great appearance, by the way, it's like the biggest viewed episode I've got on YouTube right now. Of course, again, I get YouTube a lot, so that might be part of it too. But it's a huge episode. We had you on, we had Milo on, we had Vito on for some reason. I don't know how he snuck in.
According to somebody, Vito blew out Milo. I couldn't understand that interpretation of events.
Strange. Very strange. But I have to say, you came to me, you said, let's do this. I'm going to come on your show. Yeah. And I knew what it meant for you to come to me in that moment. I knew that it meant you are doing something different now, which is what I wanted. This is what I was hoping for a long time. And then you unblocked everybody on Twitter.
Still.
And I've seen your new approach to things. And you were, and this is very big, talking shit about Dick Masterson, who I'd been sitting there for a long time going, this guy's using Ethan and Ethan doesn't realize it. I hope he understands at some point. And so, of course, I had you on to talk. I think of that episode, as much as it's an Ethan Ralph episode, it's a Dick Masterson episode too. It's like, we're talking pretty heavy shit about him. And I know you didn't even go that far, really. You could have gone way further.
Well, I held back because I told you, on some level, and people say, oh, you're a bitch for saying this or whatever. It's sad to me, right? Yeah. But go ahead, finish your thought, and then I'll weigh in.
I'm happy because you told me beforehand, I'm going to rehab. And I'm taking a, however long off. How long was it? How long did it end up being?
It was 20 days, 20 days, I think. And then there was another day or two. Yes. And it wasn't just, obviously the getting off the drugs and the drink was the big part, but it was the break. I needed a break, just in general from all this. And it's been just a 5-year-long straight war in my personal life, in my professional life. And I needed that break. I needed to get sober, and it really just breathed new life into me. I feel like creatively and just literally, honestly.
Well, do you remember back when I said I was going to kill the sector, back before I had accomplished it? I think I reached out to you and I said, I will give you however much money you would make in a month for you to disappear from the internet for a month. Yeah. You remember that?
I do.
Because I knew it would kill the sector. I knew that if you were gone, they would have nothing. Like, again, I'm not naming any names right now, but there are certain people where you're not on the internet. They don't know what to fucking do. Like, there's nothing for them at that point. It becomes like a sad, creepy, hollow place in certain YouTube channels out there, and certain British YouTube channels out there where they
they're totally lost.
Huh?
They're totally lost without me.
They're totally lost. And so even 20 days was like devastating for some of these guys. 30 days would be a nightmare. So when you told me you're going to rehab, I was like, I'm hoping this is real. I'm hoping he's sticking with it. And I'm hoping he's in there for as long as humanly possible, because I just know that not only will he come back more entertaining, more refreshed, more fun, turning over a new leaf, but it will be this sort of new chapter. It is turning a page, because there will be so many people who will get fucked up in that time not knowing what to do. And of course, a lot of people wanted to try to talk shit about you even trying,
Sure.
about you even going to rehab. They were questioning whether or not you were. I was getting messages all the time. Like I know, by the way, but like they're asking me, like, is he really going to rehab? Is he in there? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. I hope, I guess. I think so. I'm pretty sure. It seems like it.
I was.
And then you put out this beautiful video, right?
Thank you, by the way.
I have to talk to you about this. I watched it live on my show for the first time. I hadn't watched it. You were heading into rehab. You wrote out this beautiful script. You, of course, talk about your mother in there. I know that was like that choked you up a little bit.
It did.
You talked basically about everybody who got you to where you are and brought you along the way, good and bad. You mentioned, Milo, of course. You even mentioned Dick Masters. You had just talked shit about Dick on my show, but you're like, hey, listen, he was there for some of this. He made some amazing times on the Killstream. You're in it. You even said some nice things about fucking Andy Worski and the Keno Casino boy. All of this stuff. You said nice things about so many people, many of whom did not deserve it. And you had just been on my show, and I didn't get a fucking mention at all. So,
well, I apologize for that.
You. Hang on a second. So, fuck you. I didn't get you came on PodAwful for the beginning of the image rehab. Because let's be honest, this was more than just rehab. This was image rehab as well.
I went to school for political science, so I'm aware of, if you don't like what people are saying, start talking about something else and give them a new narrative. And so,
I know you know that move.
Yes.
But you came on PodAwful. I gave you a nice, big, easy dub. I just sat back and let you work. And then you fucking put out this video. Not a fucking hint of PodAwful in this video. I'm sitting there watching it live in front of my audience. I'm embarrassed. I'm like, any minute now, guys. And he's saving me for the end. Like this is going to be the nicest one because I'm there at the end. And then we get all the way to the end of the video. Nothing. So I do feel pretty fucking gypped.
Well, you know what? Let me say right now that you were a big piece of what happened and me going to rehab and this new arc that I've started. Of course, I need to go to rehab for my health. But I didn't leave you out on purpose. I was even going to mention Josh Moon, believe it or not, who definitely doesn't deserve it.
Look, you said there's a point in the video. There's a point in the video where you're like, that I know I'm leaving people out.
I did because
And then in that moment, you start naming like 3 or 4 other people that also didn't deserve a mention. People are saying in chat, suffer, Jesse, suffer, Jesse. Oh, suffer. And it's like, I am suffering. Well,
it was the best video I've ever done, too, honestly. Like, I was so proud of it. And I had people who hated me.
I'm nowhere in there.
Yeah, and I know I left you out. I'm sorry. I do apologize. I had no idea that's where you were going with that bit, by the way.
I didn't tell you that.
So congrats on that because that was very well constructed. But I honestly, I was so proud of the video. I'm sorry I left you out. It wasn't on purpose. But I was so proud of it because I rarely ever script anything, but I wanted it to be very poignant and to just be so raw. And sometimes pain, like real pain in your life, people can feel it. Like you can really create and affect people with that, and just by dropping all artifice, right, and just laying it out there. And I talked about some really heavy shit, but I had people, and I got to see a lot of the tweets before I went in, where they're like, I was crying watching this video. I had people message me saying that I had people. I saw some of the comments. Colonel J, I think, posted it on YouTube, and I saw it when I got out. And somebody said, well, there were a couple like, this brought me to tears. And then there was one like, this is the first time I've seen Ralph as a human in years and years and years, right? Like I forgot that this guy is a real person. And that's how it gets online for a lot of people. People don't understand, like, you're just this guy on the screen, or you're this guy they're making fun of on a show or whatever, and you get dehumanized. And I've done to other people too, right? Where it's like, you know, at the end of the day, we're all people, right? We're all human. We all have the same struggles. We all have the same longing for meaning in life and all this stuff. These are universal human, the human condition, right? And sometimes you just get so like you're the character online, and they don't see you that way.
Well, it would be, all that is to say, it would be nice if you just made a video where you said, and also PodAwful. Thank
maybe
you.
I'll put an addendum underneath that one.
Yeah,
and
I
also
do need
just
like some sort of addendum, some sort of a special feature, like a bonus DVD feature on there.
Director's cut, yeah.
It's also the most important guy. I actually meant the entire time. He needed his own video. He was so important to me.
Honestly, I should have put you in there, and I didn't. It was not personal at all. And when you were gracious enough to have me on your show, I wasn't for sure that you weren't gonna put the knife in my back. Honestly, when I went on the show, right, and I almost didn't go, even to the last minute. I told you that story, where it's like, I don't know. But you mentioned something earlier. You're talking about the sector and how it just became unfun, right? Just boring. Right. And I agree with you. I kind of gave a similar speech earlier where it's like, okay, I've been in this 5-year war, and a lot of it's to do with my personal life, and really nobody cares that much about that type of shit. That's another reason why I'm trying to stay out of all that, some of that stuff I mentioned, etc., because it's not even entertaining, really. Other people can feast off of it. That's fine. But like it drains me. It's like a short-term dopamine hit. It drains me creatively as well. And the sector kind of turned into, like you said, the bottom feeder is just covering my every move, just literally rewatching my stream. And then it became me, instead of when I used to go on everybody's show and be nice or talk shit or whatever, but I'm everywhere. There's all these callers calling in. Instead it became, I won't say hug box, but it's like I need to silo myself off and protect myself, right? And stay in this kind of cocoon almost, right? Because that's the only way I can survive this. Like, I'm like this, always guarded up, instead of just going out there and saying, fuck it and fuck you. And if you're nice, we can be cool. And if not, fuck you, we can talk shit. But that's how it used to be in 2018, 2019, even up to 2020. And then once the personal life got so crazy, it changed. And then people stopped going on each other's shows. And it became, I guess I take the majority of the blame, but other shows are like this too. Like the casino, they won't have people on to challenge them in any way. And I think it needs to get back to that. Like you talk about breathing new life into the sector. I don't want the sector from 2020 to 2024. I want the sector from 2018 to 2020, right? That's what I want back. And I've taken a new approach. You're definitely right. It was I made it about Dick Masterson unblocking everybody. I said I'm not like Juju or whatever, but it wasn't really about him. It was about me. Right. It was, no, let's just let it be a free-for-all like it used to be. Let's just let everybody go. They can post whatever they want underneath. I got into this bad habit, like, you shouldn't be able to post this under my tweet. Fuck you. It wasn't even really that it bothered me what they were saying usually. It was like, well, you don't deserve this space. Well, you know what? That makes Twitter boring and gay, really. Like, it's not fun anymore. And it also walls you off, where the only thing people are seeing from you is the hate, right? And the negative stuff. They're not seeing any of your good stuff. They're seeing just what your haters are saying about you. So, I changed my approach. It was a calculated move for sure. I will say that. And I think it's worked so far, at least. And going on your show, obviously had the falling out with Masterson. It was pretty nuclear, I guess. And, well, who's the first guy? Almost the first guy I called up or DM'd. Well, it was you. I mean, that's the obvious. I mean,
if you're going to talk shit about Juju the cow, really, it's either me or Maddox, and Maddox isn't going to pick up. So
yeah, right, exactly. So it's like, well, that's the place to go, right? And some of my friends, I said this on air the other day. They said, in one way, I couldn't believe that you did that. They were trying to talk me out of going on the show all day and had this plot where Vito would be the the crash dummy, and then I would actually just announce my rehab. instead of showing up on the show and then not come on. And we had plotted this out, and then I was told some things Dick has said about me in the summer. And while I was asleep on his couch, I fell asleep on his couch. I was sober at the time, California sober. I'd had a few hits off the vape, but I'd been up for like 25 hours or some shit. And I was tired after doing his show. And I fell asleep on his couch, and he's like bad mouthing me and talking shit like I'm his slave or some shit. And what pills did you give him? First off, I don't need anybody to get me any pills. I can get pills prescribed to me very easily in Mexico. I mean, she had some weed, but like, so what kind of pills did you give him? And da da da. You know, I can't think of too many people who's giving me more drugs than Dick Masterson, for one. But
well, the man has a drug drawer.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't know, I just felt completely disrespected when I heard that. And I was like, he was saying that while I was asleep, and she had no reason to lie about it. I'm like, why? Like, I was actually, I mean, I hit the vape a few times, but like, I wasn't fucked up at all. And we had a great show. It was the Sonic Shoe Medallion show. Like, that was actually probably the best episode of his biggest problem in the universe reboot, right? Like, that's probably the best one, in my opinion. And I haven't seen that many of them, to be real. But, you know, it was a good one. It was all over the internets, right? That clip at the end, of course, it was staged. Like, he showed me the medallion early on. Like, it was a fake. I knew what was coming. I acted like I didn't, but
it wasn't even a real medallion.
Nah, no. But it was kind of a viral clip though. It was everywhere. People thought it was funny, and it wouldn't have worked without me. With him and Vito there. You know, I'm the one, you know this because you were there too, and got some footage, but I got the best angle because I ran up that hill as fast as I was 100 pounds heavier.
I'm so mad because we're both at the Chris Chan arrest.
Yeah.
I was there before you. I actually got earlier. I have earlier footage of them up there,
yeah.
You know, arresting him. And I originally was in that exact spot you were standing in. That's the first place I went to. And then I was like, you know, we can't see, they weren't taking him out. So I was like, all right, let's go down there and let's film up into the room. But you couldn't see anything down there either. And then all of a sudden they start carrying him out. And I look over my shoulder. There's motherfucking Ethan Ralph standing on a cliff, by the way, like some sort of majestic, bizarre lol cow king. And he starts going, Killstream, baby! I'm like, all right, I might as well throw my footage away.
Well, you know, I was down on that level at first too, and then I started looking around, and I saw that they were starting to carry him out, and I said, let's go. I said, run up to this hill, because I saw the hill, and I was like, you got to get to the high ground. It's like the Civil War, right? It's like, okay, get to the high ground. That's the best angle. I see where the cop car is. We'll be right down, like right on it. We'll get the perfect shot. I was like fucking Hitchcock, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I got to get to that hill, and I was almost 300 pounds at the time, and I ran full speed as fast as I could, and there were a couple other people with me. I won't go into that, but you know, and I got it, and I was right there, and yeah, of course, some people were mad I was yelling Killstream. I don't give a fuck about Chris Chan. That's promo, baby. Yeah, what the fuck?
You know what? I had never thought to do that before. You start doing that, it's like, well, yeah, of course, that's the video that's going to get used. They know where it's coming from. They know where to find it. I trust me, I learned a lesson when you. At first, I'm like, he's yelling Killstream. Look at this retard. And then I'm like, well, nobody gives a shit about my footage. I guess that kind of makes sense now. No, nobody cares. You know, you put a watermark over your footage and everybody loses their minds. You scream the name of your show into footage and nobody gives a fuck.
Some people were mad. You know, it's funny that Geno Samuel dude used that clip without crediting me, and he cut out the audio, and I sent him an email and I said, if you don't link to my channel and credit me in that video, I'm going to strike this video down, you cocksucker.
He used a little bit of mine too and didn't. He either, I don't remember if he didn't credit me or he miscredited. He credited it to a channel that stole it from me and uploaded it. So it's got my watermark.
That guy's a hack. That guy's a complete hack. You talk about a guy who's made his career of one person like his whole life, and people think he's some kind of genius. He's not. He sucks. And he did that, and guess what he did? He credited me, and he linked to my Rumble channel. I said, you link to my Rumble channel, and you credit me specifically in that description, or I'm striking this fucking video down, and they will take it down. And
I took a slightly different approach.
I threatened him. Yeah, flat out.
I had my audience just go into his comments and go, "You better credit PodAwful."
No.
That was PodAwful's footage, and I think he did it in the end. But
Because I think in the video he kind of talked shit about me too, and or said something salty about me at one point. And I tried to get him back on the show. He was on the show one time when I wasn't even here. I think Gator and Zidane co-hosted that night. It was one night when I was in Memphis. Very few kill streams have ever been without me, but that was one of them. And so, and he like blew me off or whatever. So I was already kind of in a foul mood about this clown. And then he didn't credit me. I was like, all right, well, you better get right quick, or I'm getting that motherfucking strike candle out. And he did.
You know what pissed me off with the Chris Chan arrest thing? When they released the body cam footage from it. You know, the one advantage I had was that I was down there with them while they were putting him in the cop car. I'm 10 feet away.
You were closer, yeah.
And I'm going, merge the dimensions, Chris, and saying all these stupid things, right? And, you know, it was, what a crazy moment that was. They put out the body cam footage. I'm like, I'll be in it. Great. That's amazing. That'll be like a funny thing to cover. I go to watch it. I'm a blurry rectangle. They literally
you honestly got fucked on this because you had to jump. We had went to the mall because he was at the mall first, and then the police came and harassed us at the mall. And so I didn't think we were gonna be able to find him. And then we went back to the hotel, and it just so happened it was going down right then. And then, like I said, I ran up to the hill because I looked. And I was like, no, that's the spot to be. We got to get on that hill. And I got there. And then I don't give a fuck about Chris Chan at all and never have. And so my whole thing was I did a mini interview with him as well. I got him to answer some questions. And then I'm just like, Killstream, baby, Killstream, Killstream. Like, I'm promoting my shit because I don't give a fuck about Chris Chan. Some people are obsessed with this guy. And like, this is like the scoop of the century. Ralph, you got the scoop of the century. I was doing that to troll Josh Moon. Is the only reason I did that in the first place. I don't give a fuck about Chris Chan at all. I wouldn't care if he dropped dead tomorrow. I don't wish for it, but like I wouldn't give a fuck. And I don't care about his life or you know, his cats and all of his weird tranny shit. Like I couldn't care less about Chris Chan. And so that made it even funnier that it was me that got that footage. But honestly, you got fucked on it because like you were there.
You know, ironically, I came to town for the Chris Chan stuff, but then I found out you were there, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it, fuck Chris Chan. Because, you know, I grew up there. Right?
I know, yeah.
I grew up in that area. I grew up in literally the same place as I knew Chris Chan before the internet. Like
really?
That mall. Oh yeah, that mall you went to. That's the mall I went to as a kid growing up. That's the mall where Chris Chan got his name. An animatronic bear gave him his name, Christian. There, he was. You know, his birth name is Christopher. But he went there. They've got these like animatronic bears during Christmas time that will talk to you. And some guy who's like puppeteering this bear misheard him say Christopher and thought he said Christian. And so that's where he got the name. And that's where I used to go as a kid. You know, he used to be on the news sometimes. Like people have uploaded clips of this before, but like he was like a known local lol cow, basically. In that area. But he grew up in, you know, I'm from Chesterfield. He grew up in Chesterfield. The mall that he went to when he first got out of jail again, that was the mall that I worked at as a teenager. Like I've been following the Chris Chan shit.
Well, see, it makes sense why you would know more about him, though.
Yeah, but, I know a ton about him. But I was like you, ever since the trans shit, I don't give a like. That's to me, that's jumping the shark.
Yeah,
is when he turned trans, and so I don't really care about the Chris Chan stuff at all. The merging dimensions thing is funny. You know, I thought it was very funny that you and I were there to witness the dimensional merge with our own eyes. I do think in that moment the Chris Chan spirit leapt out and into you, and you sort of did take on that mantle for a while. I don't know what happened after that. And I felt like Jesus in that moment.
And drugs. You know? But yeah, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I felt like some sort of prophet to Chris Chan-ianity, like witnessing all of this. Honestly, it was an incredible moment. I could see halos around people. There was magical beams of light. But
it was internet history is what it was. I mean, really.
When I found out you were at the mall, I was like, you know what? Fuck the Chris Chan shit. I'm going to go Ralph hunting. So while you were there to like basically make fun of Josh Moon, I was there to find you And then we couldn't find you at the mall. I was running all around that mall trying to find you. And then I tuned into your stream and you're like, fuck it, we couldn't find him. I'm out of here. And you're like 30 minutes down the road.
Oh, and then there was somebody else following me, some weirdo, and so I started chewing him out, and I roasted him, and I'm like, "Go kill yourself, faggot," or whatever
I
the fuck.
saw that too. Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, "Oh, I don't want to be mistaken for that guy. It's not what I'm trying to do here." So that's when I went over to the motel, and that's when I started getting the early footage before you got there, was because I didn't want to be involved in all that shit. It's like, there's a really funny sequence of events that led to all of that.
You know, we almost didn't go back to the motel because I was like, it's probably over, whatever, just give up.
Yeah.
And then I said, I don't know, it might have been somebody else that was there who said, well, let's just check one more time, right? And then just happened to hit it and got the high ground. It's so funny. I didn't know that you had that angle at first. But I'm a student of cinema, and I know like a good shot, right? And I was like, and I could see they were taking him to that car, and I was like, we got to get to that hill, and we all ran full speed up to that hill. You can hear I'm out of breath, kind of, because I was really fat at the time, and so like, but I got up there, by God. And even though I don't really care about Chris Chan, I do understand this, like. It's the most important footage of him really that exists, honestly, in a lot of ways, and I just lucked into it out of pure spite.
I think that moment is the final canonical Chris Chan moment. I think everything after jail is like, you know, the apocrypha. It's like extra shit. It's not really part of it anymore. That is the moment, and then that should have been the end of the story, really. But I did enjoy, you know, as much as I didn't really get any play off of that myself. I did enjoy that I do end up in your foot. I look like fucking Bigfoot in your footage. Like you're
a tall motherfucker.
Yeah, you turn the camera over and get me for like half a second, and I'm like, oh, and then
I said something like, "Hey, what's up, Jesse?" Or even Jesse's here, or something. I forget what I said, but
I believe you said, Jesse, you tall motherfucker, you better get your ass over here. You're missing it. And I was like, shit, he's right. God damn. I was this close. I only didn't do it because you got me on camera. I was going to steal the Sonichu license plate.
Oh, dude, we were going to do that too.
I was going to do it because you had left at this point, and I'm still walking. I was right there next to the van. I realized, like, I'm next to the van. And I start filming inside it and shit. And I'm like, you know, nobody's going to watch my footage. I wasn't even live, but you were live. That's another reason you scooped me on it. But I was just filming it. And I'm like, fuck it. I just won't upload it. I'll steal the fucking Sonichu license plate. That's like that's some real memorabilia, not the stupid medallion. And then I realized you got me on camera. I'm like, nah, fuck it.
No, we were gonna steal that 100%, but you know, at the time I was still on probation in Virginia for that bullshit with the cop I didn't even hit, and a lot of people want to see me get put in jail, Jesse, as you know. And so, and they still do, by the way. And so I was like, and it's kind of a petty thing, but you know, if they actually know you did that, like they could have put a charge on me for doing that. And so that's the only reason that we didn't steal that license plate, because we went by the first time we couldn't get it, and we had plans to steal it too. But I was like, nah, I can't risk it. I can't risk getting up a little petty charge like that. And they would have, you know, I still had like 2.4 years of suspended time, right? Like, and that could have been a real bad situation. So, not worth it. Although I could have sold that license plate for probably like $5,000-$10,000. But not worth it. But man, that's crazy. You know what? I don't think we really talked about it this much.
No, not really.
Our role in that. Where are we going with this now?
It's one of those legendary moments of the internet. That is like something that's in the history books of the internet. Even if I'm only a footnote of it, you know, it's kind of an impressive thing. But I feel like we do have to talk a little bit. I mean, I feel like we have to delve a little bit more into one topic. And I know it's testy. All right. So I'm not pushing you to say anything you don't want to say here. But, you know, obviously before you went into rehab, you came on my show. We talked about the Dick Masterson shit. Now, there's a part of me, and I said it at the time. I said it when you came on the show. Don't you do it. Don't forgive him in your heart because you miss him as a friend. Don't you fucking do it. And then I saw that rehab video, and I go, this motherfucker is, you know, he's catching feelings again. There's something happening here. He wants to mend the fence with Dick. and then you had 20 days or whatever in rehab. You come out, and I know when you came out, you're like, I'm going to be a new man about this kind of stuff. I'm not going to approach things the same way I always did. It's not everything has to be fire and brimstone. I think it's time for fire and brimstone with Dick Masters. I mean, Juju the cat. I saw your stream on Juju where you finally figured out the different aspects, the BoJack stuff.
That actually made me angry because I love BoJack. That's like my favorite show, or like top 3 at least. And
really
I was like, and then I did the whole bit. That was my favorite part of the show because like, don't ruin BoJack. You can't ruin BoJack for me. Like, what's going on? And I talked about this. I actually felt bad doing that show. You couldn't tell on air because I was in total full Ralph Male mode and just like going wild with all. And I didn't even know all this stuff because I purposely didn't read it because I'm like, it's about my friend and I'm not in, whatever, who cares? And I didn't even know all that stuff. So I'm learning live on air.
Now, there's a reason you didn't know it. And it's because I tried to fucking tell you 5 or 6 years ago on this very program.
That's true.
And your ass kept muting me and turning my volume down and kicking me off. All the sweep for Juju. The fucking cow.
Well, he was my friend, Jesse.
You think of what you're saying, Ethan. You were
I know.
friends with a sexual cow.
Well, look.
Crazy. I mean, listen, I'm a good guy. People think I'm this villain of the internet and I do all these crazy things. I'm silly. All right. All I do is silly shit. And there are occasionally times where I will come to a goon or a lolcow or an internet guy, and I will tell them the truth. I will tell them a bitter truth, a hard to swallow truth. And in those moments, it behooves you, and I'm not just saying that because he's a cow, it behooves you to listen, because if I sound like I could even possibly be telling the truth, it means it's the truest thing you've ever heard in your life, because I only tell the truth when it's the funniest thing to do. And I knew in that moment, who was on that one?
Okay, so it was me, Masterson, Medicare, Sam Tripoli was on that show too.
A little late. He came in later.
He came in later.
Really part of it. But then you had...
and Gator, I think, was there. I don't know if Rand was there or not.
Who's that laughing Mexican guy?
Dame Pesos was there, wasn't he?
You had all these guys.
It was like the Killstream All-Stars from that era, basically. We're all on that show.
What did everybody have in common, including Medicare? They all had a new project, too.
Okay.
You were all making money off of that platform.
But that's not why I did that. I made way more money on Patreon at the time, and just off super chats. Like, Dick didn't have me financially bought off. That was not that was not the reason.
But he did have everybody else bought off. And there's a moment in that.
Josh Moon was making thousands on there. Like,
Josh Moon was the second highest paid guy on that platform.
He made a lot of money on there. Yes.
And then I think Medicare probably after that.
Medicare made a ton of money off of it. Yeah. I didn't really have that many backers because I still have my Patreon, and it was just kind of a backup for me. And I always make my money live, really.
Medicare, Mr. No Internet Friends, sitting there defending Dick Mask. I mean, pretty sick, pretty slimy, this whole thing. And I said at the time, you didn't know this because you were live. I was live on my show before going on. That was like a last minute thing. It was totally unplanned. And I told my audience, they were like, you got to go on. And I'm like, trust me, obviously I'm willing to go on. In fact, that wasn't even actually my first time on the Killstream. But I was like, I'll go on. But I need everybody to understand something. This will not be a win for me. I'm doing a sacrifice here.
It was. Right? You're right.
I'm throwing myself to the lions here, the wolves, and I'm doing something bigger, bigger than me. And one day my time will come. One day everyone will understand what I'm saying and everyone will agree. And it took 3 or 4 fucking years after that. But now everybody calls him Juju. Everybody calls it the simp texts, which was my term. Everybody calls all of those things I was saying on that one stream that I got shit on for a year.
Oh, and yeah, I muted you and kicked you off, and then we all just roasted you for like 30, 45 minutes. It was just a total, and then, yeah, I was sweeping after too. But I didn't do it for money. It was like, it was brilliant how you snuck on though, because you're like, hey, look at these texts. They're from Monday Matt. And, you know, he's our classic punching bag, or was at the time. And I was like, oh, okay. And then you get on and you start reading them, and then it's revealed that it's Dick. And okay, I got to turn this guy down. I got to start talking over him. And then eventually I just kicked you off because I knew how bad they sounded. Like I was like, oh, this is devastating shit, right? Like, oh my God. So I was doing it to protect him, and I did protect him. That's the thing. But hold on, I'll let this go through.
Cartman with a heart sent $1 on Rumble. H2BH.
Happy to be here. I'm happy you're here.
Of course.
So, I mean, some people would say, and Medicare, his whole no internet friends, we know that's bullshit. But like, you know, some people would say maybe that's unethical what I did. But for me, it was, well, I'm protecting my friend, right? Like
I'll be honest. I was shocked you didn't do it way earlier.
Yeah, well, the only reason is because it would have looked too bad if I'd have done it earlier, right? I wanted it to look like, oh, I gave him a chance, right? I gave him a little bit, and then I had to get rid of him, right? So it didn't look
credit where it's due. Most of the time, I show up on a stream pulling some shit off like that. They just kick me off instantly.
Yeah, but I wanted, because it was the Killstream, right? So I wanted it to look like you had a fair hearing, like it was an undercover sweep, basically. It was a sweep, but I wanted it not to look like one.
Master 33 sent $2 on Rumble.
Thank you.
Spick Master Stein fucks guys.
True. That is true. That is literally true.
But I did that, and you know, I feel like I did things for him career wise. You know, I had the #1 show on YouTube. I had him on there all that year, and he's done things for me too, and had me on his show, and had me at his house, and I don't know, and helped me in real life in a couple instances. So like, it's a bit of a complicated thing. But I heard those things he said about me. I was like, this guy has no respect for me at all. It sounds like that, at least, or maybe just tired of me or whatever. I don't know what.
Here's what I think it is. All right, this has been my theory for some time now. You know, after you were on the show, I start formulating, because you know what it is. Number one, I knew like you'll have feelings about this that he's not going to have, because I watched Maddox go through it. Maddox thought that Dick was his friend. Dick does not have friends. When Mr. I was going to say Matoker. When Mr. Medicare says there's no internet friends, he's lying. Dick Masterson doesn't say it, but it's true with him. In fact, I don't believe he has real life friends. Ask Sean, the audio engineer. Oh, wait, you can't. He quit. So free money. He's like, nah, it's not good enough. I can't come in.
We talked about this last night, where it's like, that's weird, huh?
Mysterious reasons he can't come in anymore. So I watched it with Maddox. You know, this dude, he's a sociopath. Dax Herrera is a sociopath. He doesn't have real world friends. He doesn't even have a real girlfriend, by the way. Like his pregnant girlfriend or whatever she is, she's not his girlfriend. She's a trophy he keeps that belonged to Maddox. Maddox used to come on her and in her. Okay.
Look, I did feel bad about some of the things I said about her. Right, I want to be good. I did feel like, because I was like, well, she's pregnant, and you know, I consider her a friend too, and it's like maybe I should have left that off the table. But yeah, you mentioned this last night.
She's pregnant, and they're really worried about you coming over because.
Yeah, what was I gonna do? Goldberg spear her through the wall or some shit? Like, I don't know. It's crazy, and I still can.
Are they going to put childproof locks on the drug drawer? Like, these are not normal people. These are freaks. And there's no reason at all, by the way, to believe that is Dick Masterson's child that's being carried inside.
Well, look, somebody tried to say Vito's the other day, and I'm like, I don't think so.
Because he was a good friend to Dick, but when it wasn't useful anymore, Dick didn't need his friend Ralph.
Yeah, Nadel's been one who's been on that, and well, people think I'm evil, but I'm not, and I wish I was sometimes, right? Like I told somebody this, where it's like, I wish I could hate these people sometimes. Like even in my personal life, people have really done me wrong, and I've done wrong things to them. I wish I could hate them, former, lovers or whatever, burn me in ways that I haven't even gotten into on air. I wish I could hate those people, but I actually can't. You know, I still care about those people. And, you know, it's kind of dumb. It's a weakness, really. And I don't know, just the way he was so cold about it. And it's like, I would have never treated him that way.
You were a human troll shield for him.
You said that. You know.
And that's what Maddox was, and that's what Vito currently is. And this has been his move ever since Maddox. Here's what Dick Masterson, Dax Herrera, here's what he does. He finds a big fat guy, okay? And it's not just you I'm talking about. It's not just Vito. He does Riley, big fat guy. He's had a string of big fat guys, and he puts them in front of him so he can get away with whatever gay shit he's doing. And then he goes, see, look, this is a loser. And then when you know, he's a weird looking guy, by the way. I mean, he looks like a melting pumpkin.
I said that on that show I did. I was like, anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like a jack-o'-lantern, you know, in late November. You know what I mean? Like, there's the hairline is bizarre, the head is bizarre, the carvings. He's a strange looking dude. But when you sit him next to a big fat guy, suddenly he doesn't look that bad, you know? And so here's what I legitimately.
You know, I lost a bunch of weight. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know.
That's exactly it, Ralph. When did he suddenly divorce you?
It was literally when I lost.
Wolf sent
Hold on, I'll let this go through.
If anything, Ralph, this whole situation speaks volumes about how a good friend you actually are and what a dick.
Well, I mean, I just told you I did to Jesse on air, and you know I did that because he was my friend. But yeah, maybe it's because I lost the weight, and he made that comment. He's sitting there with Vito. You know what? It was what I was told was said about me, but it was also I kept replaying this clip in my mind where he canceled the thing we were going to do with Milo. That's fine. That's his right. I was disappointed, obviously, but I wasn't going to go fire and brimstone. But then he went on air with fat fucking Vito there. And I don't even have any problems with Vito, really. Like, we always gotten along, mostly. And so I'm not even trying to talk shit, but like, he's a huge fat guy sitting there. And then Vito's implying that I was on a bunch of drugs when I was there in the summer, which I wasn't. I was slim and trim, looking like about like I do now, right? I was tired. I'd had a couple.
By the way, congratulations.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And, you know, he's sitting there with Vito, and Vito's implying, well, what is it about California? He seemed kind of fucked up in the summer. And he's like, oh, you mean when he looked on the edge of death? And I'm like, I looked fine in that episode. I looked better on that episode than I'd ever looked on his show, ever, in history of my appearances there.
That's the problem.
And he even told me I looked great when he saw me. On that day, he told me I looked great. And then it's a totally different story when he's sitting there with Vito and he's like running me down, like shooting on me, to use a wrestling term. I would have never done that to him. I'm like, what is this? Anyway, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but
you're saying what I'm saying. If you were still a big fat guy, you'd be allowed to go. You'd be allowed to go over there, get drunk and high. They'd let you eat everything in the drug drawer. He'd let you molest his fucking pregnant girl.
No, wait, guy, look. Come on now, let's not.
He would let you. I'm not saying you
Not
would.
look. I don't. I'm trying to keep. I do feel bad. I feel bad about the whole thing, but I shouldn't have brought her into it.
Involved.
Look,
That bitch is. Listen, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, and I've been saying it for years. This is me talking. This isn't Ethan talking. He can say whatever he wants. This is me. I've been saying this shit for years. Every time I've ever made fun of Dick for his girlfriend, every time I've made fun of 80s girl, and I'm being nice by saying 80s girl here, okay? I'm holding back. Every single time when I was calling her out for being a secret cam girl and all this shit, when I've called out some very odd suspect things that she's been up to as a school teacher, every time there would be some little gnat chirping at me going, she's not involved. Why do you got to drag her into it? I'm like, all right, first of all, bitch, she's got a name. She's got a username on the show, 80s girl. The second you got a name like that, you're involved. But furthermore, she has provided content for the show.
Maddox's letters.
Maddox's letter.
And I don't know if you know this. I told you this last night, but every show that he does, and I still, like, part of me still feels bad about all this. Like, I can't help it. But every show that he does, she's sitting there in the studio, and sometimes you can hear her.
She's there for the live events. She's there live in studio. You can hear her in the podcast. You can hear her laughing. You
Yeah,
can hear her telling him shit to talk about when it comes to Maddox. The reason she exists in this universe is because she fucked Maddox. It's as simple as that. And she has been providing content for his show when it comes to this Maddox shit for years. The bitch is involved. She's in the game, whether you like it or not. Now, is she a pregnant lady?
That's why I feel bad. And she was also what I considered a friend. And it's like, it's just bad form, honestly. I should have.
Let's be clear. Let's be clear.
But she's not off the field. You're telling the truth about that. Hold on.
Riley sent $50. Please send empty milk cartons to 1051 West.
Now wait a
Avenue
minute.
37 in Los Angeles,
I don't know. I don't know anything about that. Look. Let's not. But thank you for the 50 spot. I appreciate that.
Maybe Riley should go there. I believe that was Eric July's address.
Yeah, I don't know where that is, but the idea, I said this about Jade as well, and again, I'm not turning on Medicare, but like, oh, she's not involved in this and that. Yes, she is. She makes all the art for his streams. She does the editorial. She helps lay out the show. That's involved, and arguably, 80s Girl's even more involved than that. And so, some partners legitimately are off the field, and I've went after some people that I had no right to do. It's like, this person's not involved in any way whatsoever. Like, that's just low. But I feel
you know what the more important thing though is when it comes to that. Should you mention somebody that's like in their periphery, in their family or whatever? Here's the more important thing: does that guy do it to other people? And the answer is yes. When it comes to Dick Masterson, he's got no issue doing that same kind of shit. He does it. He's got a guy showing up to Eric July's house to torture him, right? Like, this is a guy that they had to send to jail over it. This is something
I still have no beef with Riley, by the way. I know who you're talking about, obviously, but I thought the July stuff.
You have beef with him. His girlfriend beat you up.
Well, I spit blood in her face, though. I did do that. But she didn't actually beat me up one-on-one. It was like a 3-on-1. She's got some pop in her punch. I ain't gonna lie.
She's big.
She's got some pop.
What's called retard strength.
She got some pop, man. She hit me harder than anybody there. I'm not gonna lie. One of the hardest punches I've ever taken, and I've taken a lot. She hit me. What busted me though? He had a ring or something on her. I don't know what busted me. He says he didn't, but I don't know. My lip got busted, and I couldn't. Of course, I couldn't really I didn't want to beat up a woman. I think I was still on probation at that time too. And so I'm like just trying to kind of cover up, but I spit blood in her face, and I apologize to her for that. But
Jesse looks like Howard Stern. He has the same skill as old Howard used to have, where he has retards on his show and makes them believe he's on their side, but really he's using them and humiliating them. You're Beetlejuice moron?
Are you Beetlejuice or am I Beetlejuice? I don't know.
I'm a young guy. I've never seen Howard Stern.
Well, I've seen a lot of Howard Stern, actually, and used to watch him on E all the time and listen to him on the radio, so I know a lot about Howard. He sucks now, though. I can't stand him, but all-time legend. I didn't. What does that even mean? What you just said, though, that super chat. We're just doing a show here, talking about events.
I think we're just having fun.
Yeah, exactly. We're just having fun. I don't think
people take this shit
so seriously.
It's very serious to them.
Yeah.
There's a guy in chat who's like, Jesse hates Dick, and that's the difference. And it's like, I don't hate Dick Masterson.
Well, somebody said he wanted on. I would have him on the show if he wanted on right now. I don't think that's true. That would be awesome. No, that would break the fucking internet. Yeah, I would definitely be down for that. And but I don't think that's.
And by the way, I demand a paternity test.
Well, look, I'm not going to go there. And the only reason I'm bringing, I told you, and I said in my tweet, I really don't even want to go into all this stuff. But with you on the show, we pretty much have to cover it again. I have to talk about it. So that was the one I told you in the conversation. All right, exception to what I said, because we did the show and it was kind of the catalyst for all this.
I'm begging you though, don't let him ever try to win you back over. Don't just allow that to happen in your own head. The man's using you, and here's what'll happen if that ever does happen. It means you need to lose some weight. It means you're getting big again.
Well, I know. I like to think I know him pretty well. Maybe I didn't, honestly.
Really didn't.
But he's not the type. I don't think he's the type of guy to forgive. But once I started shooting on, I felt provoked, honestly. But because she was also involved in bullshitting me on the event, like I'm talking to her on Instagram, and she's like feeding me some bullshit, and like so. Anyway, I saw what he said with Vito there, cackling, and it kept replaying in my head. I'm like, fuck this guy, finally. But once I said some shit about her, and I revealed the calc, he was literally in the Juju costume, both of them. I'm not kidding. And so once I said that stuff, I don't think he's the type of guy that would honestly forgive that anyway. So, and look, somebody once told me, and it was Medicare actually, that I don't need Medicare, I don't need Dick Masterson to do this show, and so I do wish him well with the kid or whatever, and
Fuck it.
Fuck it, don't even do that. Jesse
Why
has no
fuck that
appetite.
shit? Why? Who cares? You don't have to sound like the good guy just because a kid's involved. Fuck the kid. The kid's, by the way, going to be fucked up.
Puzzle sent $5 on Rumble. Rupio Phoenix is Jesse's Beetlejuice.
Look, I'm trying to keep it. I don't know. I guess the cat's out of the bag. There's no point.
I know. I get it. I get the desire to be like, hey, listen, no harm to the guy or whatever. And sure, of course, I agree with it. But that kid's got no chance. His dad looks for guys to suck off on Craigslist. Like, there's no work. I don't care how much money Dick Masterson makes, and they live in L.A. in some ramshackle place. The fucking kid has no hope in this world. Okay, yeah, of course we wish it the best, but like, why bother? It's like wishing the best to African children, flies all over their eyeballs. Like, they're not going to do well.
You mentioned children, and part of that weekend, I was down so low, Jesse, and I talked to my friend after, and he's like, I was like near hero level type shit, and I was like, I'm in California. A lot of my favorite celebrities have died in a California hotel, or just OD'd, or just off themselves. I'm like, this is poetic, right? I started telling him I'm fatalistic sometimes. You might be able to tell. And I was like, this is perfection, right? I should just go ahead and check on out and forget about this. And I was convinced I needed that Milo event. Like, I needed this, and I was denied it. And we were working the whole time. It was gonna be fun. We were gonna really talk shit about each other, but then shake hands and hug at the end, because we're old buddies, right? Right. But I thought it would be great. It would have been, by the way. But I was like down low, and then I saw that footage, and I'm like even lower.
Daniel
Hold on,
Washington
I'll let this go through.
$1 on Rumble.
Thank you.
Jesse, has anyone told you that you look like Cousin It from Addams Family? It's a compliment.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I actually cosplayed his cousin It recently on the show. Watch this. Hey, here. I'll just.
Yeah, it works very easy.
This is one of my famous impressions. This and Rand.
I'm gonna remind you about the Rand thing before we get done, but
this is my impression of Rand's wife.
Oh, George Washington, we call her here on the show. But Mary Jane.
Mary Jane sent
Good to see you,
$20
sweetheart.
on Rumble. Just came in to tell you I love you, Ethan.
Oh, I love you too, Mary Jane, and thank you so much. And she was actually the one. She was there at Dick's house, and she's like, do you know he was like talking all this trash to me and about you while you were asleep on his couch? The same couch I've fallen asleep on, I don't know, 20, 30 times. And what pills did you give him? And I was like, no, I didn't know that. And there were people in my circle who were mad at her. They're like, hoes coming between bros, and you shouldn't have told him that, and da-da-da. And she's not a liar. Like, there's no doubt that that was said, right? Like, she's not a liar. And
there's a part of me that believes that maybe Dick Masterson has an Epstein style. No, I'm not saying pedophile, but an Epstein style setup where he's trying to get every streamer, internet guy, celeb person over to his house and get some sort of compromise on them so that he can hold something over their heads for the rest of their lives. He might be working. They call him a Mexican Jew. He might be Mossad. I'm not sure.
Well, I haven't told everything, Jesse, and
Okay.
I don't really want to because if provoked, whatever. But like, I haven't. There's some crazier things I could have went into, and I just try to. If you watch that show, yeah, it's hardcore on my show. But also, I'm trying to be funny, right? It's kept at a certain level, right? Like there's a few other things I could have told, and I didn't call him or dox his number or do anything like that. I tried to keep it at a certain level because, I don't know. That's just me, right? But yeah, there's some interesting, other interesting stories in that mode. But I don't know. Oh yeah, let me finish that up. So. You were talking about children, and I was seriously considering just checking out. And it's like, do I even want to do this life anymore, right? Like, and this is my life too, right? This is it. And it's like, I'm just not feeling it. And then I went and saw my son, and he's the cutest fuck. I don't just say this because he's my kid. Like, he's the cutest kid of all time, and favors me quite a bit. And he's got the same blue eyes. When I see my son, I see what I was before I was exposed to some of the stuff I talked about in that video, the just harsh realities of life itself. And
Portugal.
Yeah, Portugal, get my face kicked in. I just see it's the childlike innocence. That's what it is. And I see myself in him. And after that visit, I was like, first off, this is crazy. Of course, I'm not going to off myself. What would he think if I killed myself on a visit to go see him when he found out, 15 years later? Like, how would that make him feel, for one?
Right.
And also, Dick Masterson is not fucking worth it. Like, who gives a shit? And I've rebuilt from a lot worse than this. Like, I mean, I went to jail. Like, all this crazy shit's happened, and tapes released, and all this shit. Believe me, I can come back from this. And I started getting angry instead of feeling sorry for myself. And I started thinking about Vito there cackling. Vito, you had a lot to do with it. I started thinking about Vito there cackling it up. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I got a different plan. And so I credit my son a lot, but I credit Vito too, because just like, of all people, Vito is sitting there cackling about somebody's looks and drugs and all this and that, and like I said, I get along with him, and I'm not even trying to bury him, but it was just something about that image that kept playing in my mind. And Dick didn't have to do that. He could have just canceled it, kept it clean, and kept it on a certain level, not talk shit, right? Instead, he starts shitting on me on air, and he talks about Eric July, and I thought some of that stuff was funny for sure. But he would always make fun of him for like, oh, you disrespected me. And you notice, if you ever saw any of my coverage of it, I never made fun of that, because that's how I was brought up too, where if somebody, like, that's a serious thing down south. And in certain areas, certain cultures, like, yeah, you get disrespected, you might kill a motherfucker, right? And that's how I was raised. If it goes to a certain level of disrespect, and some people think this is crazy, but this is just my culture where I'm from. It's like, yeah, that is how it is. Somebody disrespects you at a certain level, fuck them. And so that's what I got to. And I just was tired. I didn't appreciate the disrespect. And I finally had to say something. And I did. So that's how it all went down. Now, all right. Let's talk about a couple other things. You've been gracious with your time, by the way.
First of all, can we just say... Hear me out. Can we just say this? Congratulations are in order to a certain guy. I think he deserves a shout out. I know he's watching. He watches your show quite a bit. Mersh, he got his car back, everybody. The dubs never end. His car was repoed. He paid for it. He didn't have it for a week after paying for it. He got the caddy back today. Congratulations to Mersh. Shout out to Mersh. Right? You love Mersh. He's your good friend.
I actually I like Mersh, yeah.
He's a great guy.
I watch his show because it comes on right after mine. And so a lot of times either lead in with my viewers, like because you can raid channels or whatever, or I'll just go watch a little bit of Mersh after my show. I actually like Mersh and get along with him and think he's funny. Yeah.
And you're happy about the caddy being back? You're going
I
through
didn't
some
know
real-
about the caddy. I saw him talking, I think maybe last week or a few shows ago about it, but I didn't know what was going on.
Well, it was upsetting because, you know, it sounded like it was another win for the toe.
The toe.
T-O-W.
Oh, the toe. Oh, okay. That was a really good joke. It just went completely over my head.
Sorry, I probably could have set that one up better in some way. Speaking of the toe, though.
Oh, yeah. Let's speak about that because he's an insanely just cringe lying faggot. And he was the morning show host of the. And there's multiple stations in St. Cloud, by the way, right? So it wasn't like it was he had a monopoly there. But this is the 187th ranked media market in the U.S.
Wait, hang on. I was watching you earlier, but we should reset in case there's some new people here and stuff. They don't know exactly what we're talking about here. You know,
Aaron Imholt.
Aaron Imholt, steel toe.
The guy who ate Ricatus cum out of his wife's pussy.
Supposedly he did suck off and eat cum and was butt fucking guys and girls and stuff. And they did a swap. They did a swap shop sort of deal where they gave. And he fucked. And now, hey, in all due respect, he fucked the shit out of Nick Ricada's wife, who Nick Ricada is still kissing on the mouth.
Well,
right now, the mother of his 5 children.
Look, I made peace with Ricada. You're really just trying to get me back into it with everybody, aren't you?
No. What I'm saying is, Aaron Imholt came inside of her mouth and her ass. And
I don't know the particulars of all that, but
I do.
Oh Jesus! Look, okay. It was a.
I asked him about it. I said, "Did you come in her mouth and her ass and her pussy?" He was like, "Yeah." And then he sent me a bunch of these photos of her fully nude.
Did he send?
No, I'm just kidding.
I was about to say, be careful. You don't want a Gino. What about, we might talk about Gino as being so retarded. They'll arrest his ass and take him to Minnesota. You can't just skip out on a felony trial when you're a material witness, you idiot. What the fuck are you talking about? There's reciprocity between the states. There's laws on the books. They'll arrest you. Anyway.
Well, he learned it from April, actually. He said, they can't make me come.
Got that one. He doesn't have my philosophy, I guess, about that being the best part of sex. But anyway,
maybe if Gino shoves his thumb up the court's ass, he'll be able to.
Okay, look. So Imholt, he thinks he's like this great professional broadcaster. He's always been a hack. He was never anything to begin with. St. Cloud, Minnesota, literally 187. Memphis, for example, is 50. And that's still a little bit down the list, but that's a top 50 market. He was in the Columbus, Georgia is a bigger media market than St. Cloud, Minnesota, right? I read the list earlier, and it's just insane. So this guy thinks he's some hotshot. He never was. The biggest interview he ever had, I think, was Josh Gad or something like that. I could sit here and catalog my interviews. I have at least 100 interviews that are way more important than that.
Can I tell you something about his radio show that I don't think you were even picking up on earlier?
Sure.
And I want to be clear here. I have had this friendly relationship with Aaron Imholt for a while now.
Yeah, but he's been using you, though. Anyway, go ahead.
Using me. He what he does is he'll tell people I'm coming on the show and then tease me to try to get his gold back.
Yes.
Like, if you did that to me,
it'd be war.
I'd be like, I'm not coming on here.
Sure.
Fuck that shit. And he's done that to me now 3 times secretly. He just pulls that maneuver. And then he was supposed to come on my show, and unlike you, he pussied out not once, not twice, but 3 times. And sorry, 3 strikes, you're out with me. So I'm doing a full reversal on Aaron Imholt. I'm now against it's full on. I'm getting worked up into a shoot or something here. I don't know the terms, but I don't like Aaron. All right. So I am talking shit about Aaron because here's the thing with his radio show, right? It wasn't a real radio show. This is the crazy. You can talk about the numbers and the markets and all this stuff. It doesn't fucking matter. He was essentially paying to be on the air.
Oh, so I heard this from somewhere. Is this really true?
Now, all right, so there's this whole scheme with radio where a lot of the local radio shows you listen to, it's just a guy buying the ad slot time and then making a show instead of an ad. He's like, he's basically just buying all the ad space and going, I'm going to do a show now. And they just let him do it. Now, that's not technically what Aaron did. So he's going to talk his way around this and say, no, I'm different. I'm a real radio host. Here's what Aaron did. He was a sales guy. He was a marketing guy. So what he did is he went to the potential advertisers and got them to buy the space for him and then made a show out of that. So he went to Stoney's Bar and Grill, which he still advertises on his podcast.
This is true, because I always wonder
Rep
why
sent
it's still
$1
there.
on Rumble.
Hold on, I'll let this go
I was
through.
thinking about that case. Emo, it's likely he shared nudes of April and Kayla multiple times because he loves to brag so much and look like he's this big ladies man.
Yeah, it's strange, but like, okay, finish, and thank you for that. But go ahead and finish your thought there.
So just to make it clear, he would go to like Stoney's Bar and Grill, these local places, because he's a local podcaster. What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
By the way, how do you market a bar on your podcast?
I don't get it at all, Jesse.
If you happen to live in my small town, come to this bar. It's like, what the fuck are you thought? You're on YouTube.
He's like he thinks he's a bigger deal than me. Motherfucker, I've been in the Washington Post, the New York Times, Politico, Wall Street Journal, and I'm not even trying to brag. I'm just objectively a bigger deal than him and more well-known by multitudes. Like, it's not even close. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I'm not bragging, but it's just, it's crazy. He's like, my fans don't even know who Ralph is. Well, because they're a bunch of fucking meth heads from fucking St. Cloud. He had me on there just January 2024.
Ralph, you forgot. You were on there in like April or March or May.
I did forget about that. Oh, yeah, that's right. He had me call in. Yeah, no, you're right. Because it was in the morning. I wasn't actually. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I remember I was in there trolling you in chat. You were on the show.
You're right. I wasn't even fucked up that day, but I'd been up for so long, and he comes on in the mornings, and I was still awake, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna call in because he screwed me. I was supposed to get the first interview, and so that's why me and Godwinson and Persip Cassidy ran a train on his ass instead, because I was gonna do a friendly interview with him actually, and be fair. And instead, since he fucked me over and took it to the casino instead, well, you know, I have a bit of a vindictive streak from time to time. So I got my two guys in here, and we have a long history, and we worked out what we're gonna do, basically. And it was me kind of being kind of a good cop, and then just busting his shit in the whole time. And then at the end, I revealed that I'm gonna interview Nick Ricada. And so that was all planned, right? And it was because he fucked me over. Anyway, yeah, you're right. I've been on there
you
twice.
were on there not that long ago. And of course, when you went on, he was like, I love this guy. This guy rules.
Yeah.
Ethan Ralph. He's like, he's a fixture of the. Who doesn't know Ethan Ralph? And now he's like, I've never even heard of this guy before. It doesn't make any sense. All right. So Aaron, again, just to reiterate, his entire radio career, technically speaking, he was on the real radio. That's not a lie. Technically speaking, he, as far as we know, wasn't buying all of the ad space himself. He was going around to businesses, and basically, here's what I think happened. This is just a theory. I think what he did was he cut them a deal, and he actually did pay for some of the ad space himself, so that they could get a low rate on the ad space, and then that way he could be on air. He goes on air. By the way, he just takes the name of a show that existed before him, a real show. They had a real morning show called the Steel Toe Morning Show, and he just
So he stole it?
Yes, he stole their name and logo.
What?
Yes.
So everything about, first off, I'm starting to notice what a compulsive liar he is over the past year or so, or whatever, 8 months. But this is next level shit, Jesse. So his entire career is fake, and not only that, his show is stolen, and the logo's stolen too.
Not only is the logo stolen from the old show, but the logo, the boot he uses is clip art. He is stealing clip art. Because you have to pay to use clip art. I'm sure you know this.
I do. My original logo in Gamergate days was this skull thing or whatever, and it was clip art. But yeah, I just used it illegally.
Sure. Tons of people do that. But if you're going to pretend to have this like real business and you're on the real radio and all this stuff, to just straight up unlicensed use clip art is crazy. It's nuts. And at that point, you should have somebody who could draw you like the fucking new.
Well, yeah, just
logo
pay
or something.
$50-$100 or somebody, and they'll draw it. Like
It should have a fan who'd be willing to do it for you
free.
at that
Yeah,
point, right? But of course, he doesn't have fans. He has detractors. And I was on his show multiple times, and every time I basically gave him the blueprint. I said, You're riding a wave right now.
I listened to your segment after I left, by the way. Go ahead. Finish your thought, though.
He was riding this wave. He's got this heat on him from this Nick stuff. It's going to crash. At some point, it's going to crash. And I gave him a blueprint of how to turn this into an actual win for the toe, how to make money off of it, how to keep it going to some degree. And he fucking didn't listen to any of it. And, Aaron,
No, it was great advice that you gave him, but go ahead. Yeah.
Aaron reminds me a lot of Maddox in that they're both allergic to good ideas. I was in Maddox's ear for years telling him, what you ought to do is this. And then he would always say, that's a great idea. And then do the exact opposite of anything I said. And
he let Masterson flood the zone for so many years that he had no chance to, you have to get out there. You can't just let somebody say all this stuff with no response for years and years and years and years. You can't come back from that. You might win a few people back eventually, but you're going to lose the war. That's not a winning strategy.
I told him all of that before it ever happened, and he wouldn't listen. Aaron is the same way. He can't listen. And another thing I told him, I was privately in his DMs telling him, and I know everybody was telling him this, but I was more specific. Everybody was telling him, you got to shut up. You're on the show and you're incriminating yourself every single day. What I reached out to him and said was, listen, man, I've been arrested on my show for my show before. Okay. There's something I happen to know something about this. And what's happening right now is, and you don't know it, this is before he had been arrested. I said, you are right now under arrest. Now they're not announcing it to you. They don't have a warrant out for you. They're waiting. They know they're going to do it. You are theoretically right now under arrest. And the only reason they're not coming for you is because every fucking day you go live on this show and you give them all of the testimony they're going to need. You're basically making hours and hours of confession tape for them. And so one day the other shoe is going to drop and you're going to be gone. They're going to come for you. And I think it was within a week of saying that to him, saying you got to stop, that they issued the warrant. And then of course there was that, weekend manhunt for him. Nobody knew where he was. People were saying he had committed some sort of family annihilation event.
Yeah. I didn't believe that, but I did laugh when I'm not at the idea of his kids dying, but it was crazy theories like that. And I might have retweeted
I made it up, but yeah. It was me telling people that. When they put out the warrant, I called the jail or the police department it was the jail actually. I called the jail and I was like, do you guys know where he is? And they were like, no. And I was like, because I do. And
shit.
Yes, this is real. I had DM'd with him and he just happened because I was asking him, do you want to come on the show? And then he flaked again. And so I said, well, what are you doing this weekend? And he was like, I'm going up to the cabin with my kids, in such and such place. So I called up the jail. I'm like, yeah, he's in the woods right now.
Well, yeah, because he said, I had a thing worked out to turn myself in, and then they showed up early. He had some bullshit excuse, right, that he said on air, but that's not how that works. If they come and get you,
friends with the cops.
That's what dude. That's exactly what I was about to say. He thought he was on the police's team, like he was honorary deputy or whatever, like Barney Fife, or some shit. Like that's what he thought. And if you know anything about the police, they're not on any team. They're on their team. And they like arresting people. And they're not your friend. The police are not your friend, ever.
And they're lying to you.
They can lie. Police can lie. Do people understand? Police don't have to tell you the truth, and that's like a Supreme Court decision.
But the thing about Aaron is, if you're a cum licker, you're definitely a boot licker. You know what
true,
I mean?
Yeah, not a big
he'll lick anything you put in front of him. So, yeah, he's friends with the police. He's friends with the judge. He literally said that he's good with the prosecution. Like the
same-
other lawyer.
He's in Stearns County, Jesse, and they're not fucking around up there. And I know a little bit about it because I streamed his hearing, and then he snitched, and he tried to claim he didn't after, but he admitted on air that he snitched. Whatever. But you know what I did? I wrote a letter to the court. A lot of people made fun of the letter, but there was this lawyer. I forget his name now. He said letters like that sometimes work with the court. Like that wasn't a crazy idea that he tried. Now sometimes they don't work, and it didn't, but it wasn't crazy. Well, I got in touch with the clerk, and the prosecutor knew, like, I just wanted to make it go away, right? Well, the same chick who's fine lady who's prosecuting him was involved with my case. She was the one prosecuting me, and she said, you know, I see you wrote the judge, and I see you're trying to get in contact with me. I'm not your lawyer, first off. Obviously, I'm the county attorney. We're charging you with contempt. Here's the offer: $500 fine, year suspended sentence, and you'll have to pay costs. So it was like $585 or something. And you don't have to accept it. You can take this to trial, but I can also make it to where it was a plea petition or whatever. You won't even have to show up on Zoom. You won't have to come up here. It would have cost $600 just to fly to Minnesota, for one. So she's like, you won't even have to be at the hearing. You can waive your rights on that, and we can make this all. That'll be the end of it. And I said, thank you, ma'am. I accept, and I will have that document sent to you tomorrow, and I'll sign it via DocuSign. And that's exactly what I did. Now, and then it was over. And I wasn't going to go to the U.S. before. I'm not getting arrested at the fucking border. Like, fuck that. Could you imagine? But it got taken care of, and she was very nice about it. And that's how you deal. I know how to deal with the law. When you go in there and you get cocky and you think they're your friends, and she didn't do that because she was my friend. She did that because, it's just an easy W, and they get their money, and it wasn't a huge crime anyway. It's like, whatever. I can just add it to my stats. Well, I was told that they offered him a deal on this revenge porn thing. He's got a felony revenge porn charge, by the way. That they offered him a deal, and that he turned it down. And
just to be clear, revenge porn is fake.
Well, look,
it shouldn't be a law. You should be allowed to do it, especially to a woman. Revenge porn is a fake. It's just more, the court system jacking off the ladies, basically. Everything's to prop up dumb women for doing dumb shit. Hey, you don't want your porn out there? Don't take a photo of your naked body. Okay? I'm on your side, Ethan. I don't believe you are a revenge pornographer.
I want to say this. I apologized for the stuff with my son's mother and releasing that, and I don't think that was the right thing to do.
I thought it was cool, and that was when I first learned about the thumb stuff.
Look, I'm not gonna go. Look, let's not do that. I mean that, and I did that for several reasons. I knew it was wrong, and also, my son. One day I'll have to have this conversation, and I want it known that I apologize for that, and I regret doing that. Now, if we're talking about legal theories and stuff like that, I mean, it's blatantly unconstitutional in my opinion, but whatever. You shouldn't do it, and I shouldn't have done it to her, and I'm sorry that I did, and whatever. But if you want to go into constitutional law, I mean, it's pretty obvious if somebody consensually agrees to be recorded or sends you photos or whatever, that those are now your property to do with as you please. Still, you should not do revenge porn. I still feel bad that all that happened. And
I'm a First Amendment absolutist. I say, and I will be actually taking photos of lots of people naked, men and women, and disseminating them everywhere that I can.
Anyway, I was told he was offered a deal, and he turned down the deal. Now, it's my belief that he thought, they're not going to be able to force Gino to court. They're not going to be able to force Keanu in here. Well, guess who's handling his case? Like I said, the same woman. And they put out a nationwide warrant for me, Jesse. I couldn't enter the United States without getting arrested until that was taken care of. And I didn't, and I wasn't going to until it was taken care of, because fuck going to jail. Anyway, they cited the statutes, if you read the court documents, where there's a reciprocity agreement between Minnesota, where Minnesota citizens have to go to New York to testify in cases like that. And New York has a exact law where New York citizens have to go to Minnesota. It's reciprocity between the states. This is constitutional basics, by the way. But he thought, and it's my belief that he may have colluded with Gino. I don't know. But that, their main witnesses aren't going to be at trial, and I can just, drag this out, and there's no way they can make them show up, and I'll get away with it. Well, then it's not going to happen. And it's very clear that they're playing hardball now because they put an order to appear and request for subpoenas for Keanu and Gino. And both are ordered to appear, and they've already requested the subpoenas. And they know where they live because they're the ones who called in and snitched on them in the first place. Or took the call from the police, one or the other. They talked to the police. They didn't have to, right? But they did. And they're on the record with the police already. So.
And by the way, legally now, can we stop calling him He's Eugene.
Yeah,
Don't
he's
be
Eugene.
Gino
Yeah, he's
anymore.
Eugene.
That's the absolute worst thing to come out of this is finding out that he's been lying and saying he's, Mr. Boopity Bippity Italian guy Gino. You're Eugene. You're a dork.
It is Eugene. I actually didn't know that until I read these documents. But it's quite clear, they cite the statutes. Like, they're not going to get away. His only hope is they give him another chance at a deal, which now, why would they? Honestly, because they have him dead to rights. And not only that, Keanu and Gino both went on air either yesterday or day before and admitted again that he committed revenge porn and said flat out he did it again with friends like these, Jesse. I'm like, okay, so this is like the second or third time they have them on tape saying he did it, and then they also said he did it to the police. But somehow, like, why would they be nice and offer him another deal? They have him dead to rights. I just don't see why they would do that, Jesse. And he better hope and pray and beg at this point because Gino is not going to get away, and Keanu with just like, I'm going to ignore this. Well, they'll arrest you and they'll carry your ass to Minnesota is what they'll do. And it might be a nice ride or they can make it a real rough ride. And the court can fuck you as hard as they want. So you might as well play ball and be nice and respectful to both the DA and the judge every time.
Do you think there's any possibility at all that this is some sort of, double agent sort of thing where they're not cool with Aaron secretly?
Well, they had a falling out with him, and then all of a sudden we're buddy, and It was really strange. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've had fallings out, and we're cool now. But like, I don't think I'm gonna be best man at your wedding or anything, or my 15th wedding. You probably won't be best man or whatever. But like, we get along, and I have fun.
Actually, I think I might be.
Well, we have fun. I think we're a good team on air. So whatever. But yeah, it was really strange how that kind of flipped around all of a sudden, and I don't know. Maybe it is some double agent shit, but I do know that if this goes to trial, they will be at that trial because they take that shit really seriously and they know where they live and they're not in Mexico.
Why not just at the very least say, like, try to petition to be like, can we just call in on Zoom
Yeah.
like a normal person?
Well, and they might even allow something like that, but now that they've been so flippant, and when Mercado was trolling him in chat, Keanu is like, wow, that's a really good way to get a bench warrant, Keanu. And he's not lying. It really is a great way to get a bench warrant saying, fuck you, judge. I'm not showing up. Fuck you. Da. You know why they issued the warrant to me? Because I was on air and I legit said, I didn't hear that. Whatever. Da. Technically, I'm not broadcasting. If I hadn't have said that, I could have claimed that, I didn't quite hear what the judge said or whatever. Or I didn't catch that. Or they didn't have an open and shut case. But once I said that, they're like, and they cited it in the warrant. They're like, he clearly heard the order. So I don't know. But I know he better hope and pray. They have no reason not to nail him for the felony now either, because what a prosecutor really cares about is their felony conviction rate. And they like it to be about 98 or 99%. And so, and he's played so many games at this point, there's no reason to let him off the hook. And he better hope I'm wrong. But I'm not usually wrong about this legal shit. And so I saw that Doom clip me, and some of the comments were like, wow, Ralph's sober, and he's giving better analysis than half of LawTube on this issue. And I'm like, well, fuck, I've been in a courtroom about 500 fucking times.
You should really ask a criminal more.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a criminal. What can I say? Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Anytime I've ever been ordered to appear and been served and told to appear in court, I've always been there. And if not, I had a really good reason not to be, and it got excused.
I'll say this.
That's
Now,
basic knowledge, Jesse. Go ahead. Yeah.
Can I play devil's advocate here for a second? Now, I have one time been demanded to show up to a court. It was in like Tacoma, Washington, or some retarded shit like that. And I was like, nah, I'm not doing it. And they probably would have let me zoom in or something. And I said, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I'll tell you what happened. Here's what happens. They make a default judgment.
Yeah.
They just instantly judge against you. And I knew that going in. And I said, fuck it, I'm not going to do it. So they just judged against me. They ordered me to do whatever. And here's what I did. I didn't do that at all. I didn't listen to them. I didn't follow any of their rules. And then it just went away. So on the other side of the coin, you could possibly just not do
you
it
can
if
get
you
away
don't
with
fuck-
shit like that on petty, like little shit, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, you can do that for sure. But on a contempt of court, you fucked with the judge, and you fucked with like their authority, right? Like you know what I mean? Like, and they're really prickly about that sort of thing, and you did it blatantly, even though Imholt himself has done the exact same thing with April's hearing, and blatantly did the same thing. And of course, everybody broadcasts Recadas, and you know, he didn't go around trying to have me arrested and Aaron arrested and all this stuff. Like, he should get some credit for that. You know who did, though? The snitch, Aaron Imholt. The fucking snitch who thought he was a honorary deputy, and now he's facing felony revenge porn charges. And I don't see how he's going to get out of it. But
Well, I'll tell you this. I'll tell you why I'm really here. Okay? Again, in the past, I started a thing called #Total Sector Death.
you did.
And I believe I was successful. For a year, there was essentially not really a sector. Nobody was even really talking about it. Even the Kiwi Farms threads were kind of dying off for a while. I mean, you noticed it.
Yeah.
And there's there are these communities. You started by accident, but you started this community called the sector, this circle of
I
influence.
coined the term, actually. Yes.
You coined the term, and you're the nucleus. You're the man in the middle of the sector.
I'm the
And
sun.
there's other ones.
Yeah.
There's other ones. There's the commentary community. Do you
And
know
the
what this is?
Dabbleverse.
And the Dabbleverse.
Yes.
And here's the thing. Now, this is fascinating. I was watching the program earlier. You were talking about the Dabbleverse, and you were talking about Stuttering John.
Yes.
Now, you are the nucleus of the sector. The nucleus of the Dabbleverse is supposedly Stuttering John. But I declared this a few weeks ago on my show. I said, you know what's interesting? Nobody's talking about or fucking with Stuttering John anymore. Now, there's a new nucleus in town, and his name is fucking Aaron Imholt.
It's true.
And like it or not, again, just like you, Stuttering John accidentally named the Dabbleverse, right?
Yes.
He's gone. He's not part of it anymore. He's out. They gave up. The Dabbleverse didn't die. It evolved. It's a fascinating thing. And I said a long time ago, I hate this Dabbleverse. It's for boomers. This shit sucks. It's so unfunny. It spawned some of the worst portions of the internet. Like that guy Doom you're talking about. I like him. He'll clip my stuff too.
Yeah, he's cool.
But these clippers, for the most part, he's okay. But a lot of these clippers need to fucking go. And it's created, and Aaron Imholt is a fake content creator. Let me explain something to you. Aaron Imholt is propped up by a community of clipper freaks, and he would not exist without them. More people watch clips of Aaron Imholt than they watch Aaron Imholt's actual show.
True.
The Steel Toe Morning Show, I couldn't believe it. The last time I had looked in on Steel Toe, he was getting Ricada numbers. You know what I mean? People were tuning in for the fucking drama. Then I invite him on my show. I realize I'm getting big time by this big-headed
He thinks he's big
tarantula
time.
freak.
It's crazy. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's nuts. He's delusional. Because I go and I look at his YouTube channel. This dude's he's got however many thousands of subscribers on his, 15,000 subs or whatever on his YouTube, which is way more than me, after all of my YouTube deletions. I go and look at the views. He's got like There's like 400 people watching a full episode of a show that's been out for weeks. You know what I mean? He's getting
On the
nothing.
view count?
The view count.
What?
Bro. I'm not kidding. These videos, he's lucky to get 2,000 views on some of them. I'm doing better. You know, your episode of PodAwful blows every episode of Steel Toe out of the fucking
Well, I do
water.
much better on Rumble. YouTube's literally the biggest website in the world.
And this is the sickest part. He's on Rumble too, and it's not helping anything.
No.
He's getting nothing. Nobody's watching this show except through clips.
Well, I even said that earlier that I never see him live ever, but I see all these clips flood the zone, and that's the only way I ever see anything about him. And since I consider him a liar and a snitch and a snake and just a phony faggot, like I said earlier, I'm starting to take an interest in taking him down a peg because he's delusional.
Let me pitch something to you here, Ethan, because again, I said a year ago we got to destroy the Dabbleverse, but I'll tell you, in my heart, I knew I couldn't do it. In my heart, I knew that I don't know enough about it. It's not my world. I'm not connected to the people involved. But I'm watching Aaron Imholt slowly become the nucleus of this thing. He's inheriting a crown he never deserved to wear, and his head was too big for anyway. And of course, he thinks he's bigger than an Ethan Ralph. Of course he's that delusional. He's got all these guys clipping him. You have guys clipping you. You've got guys where they're watching you every fucking day. You've got entire shows. You have a network around you, right?
Yes.
It's the ecosystem. It's the sector. The Dabbleverse has become his ecosystem. But it's insanity because nobody's watching him. And if all of these clippers disappear, I made your clippers disappear. I made the guys who hate Ethan Ralph stop covering Ethan Ralph for a year. And Ethan Ralph did not disappear. So the real reason I'm here to breathe new life into the sector is I realize something. The sector is the only thing that can destroy the Dabbleverse. I need a nucleus. I need the nucleus of the sector to destroy the nucleus of the Dabbleverse. I need Ethan Ralph to destroy Aaron Imholt. And I'm declaring right now, here on the Killstream, hashtag total Dabbleverse death.
Sir, you have my sword, is all I'll say to that, because I'm so sick of this guy. And like you said, you laid it out perfectly. I would never see anything from him ever if it weren't for like literally there's like 30, 40, 50 clips of this guy a day. Like, I'm like, why? And they all suck. Like, I'm sitting there watching him on air and he's lying and it's boring. Anyway, go ahead. Yeah.
There is no world where a man who has eaten that much cum should have this much heat surrounding a show that nobody watches. It makes no fucking sense. And by the way, there are, just like with you, you know, I like Andy Warsi. You hate him. I like him. He's a friend. I don't have a problem with Kino Casino.
That's fine. I don't expect her right. Yeah, that's
the same way that I've got people in the sector where they cover you a lot, but I don't hate them. There are people in the Dabbleverse that fucking cover Aaron Imholt all the time. You know, there's a show, Nobody Likes Onions. Are you familiar with it?
Yes, Melton. Yeah.
Patrick Melton. So I like Patrick. I think he's a good host. I think he does a good show. I've known him for 15 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And the thing is, his show is just the Steel Toe show now. He is better than that. He needs it choked out of him. He needs somebody to put a kink in that hose for a bit. We need 30 days of no Aaron Imholt. The smartest fucking thing Aaron Imholt could ever do is disappear for 30 days. For 30 days, he could come back rehabilitated. You might know something about this. He could come back rehabilitated. And in that time, his haters, his detractors, his clippers would have all fucking died of thirst in all of this time. They won't know what to do. They will either pivot or fucking die. And when he comes back, he could be a new guy. He could be no longer the guy who sucked off Nick Rekieta. All he'd have to do is come back with a little heat, a little oomph, a little pizzazz, be willing to bring people on. And listen, I get it. The real reason he didn't come on my show and the real reason he's a little cagey sometimes is because he's got legal troubles going on. And he's afraid I'm going to say something.
But you won't. Like I told you, there's
but I won't. I'm here on this show right now where there's a landmine every cardinal direction around this man. Like I could be saying lots of shit right now.
A doll will
of course.
$1
I'll let this go
on
through. Well, yeah.
The Devilverse needs a better class of villain, and Ethan Ralph is going to give it to them.
That's it exactly. That's it exactly.
Well, yeah, and there's of course, there's minefields surrounding me at all times. But I told you there was two things I could not discuss on your show, and if you had brought it up, I would have probably just walked, just left, or I just wouldn't have discussed it anyway. So it's like no point really. But you could have still done it to like try to embarrass me or whatever. But you didn't do that. You conducted.
I want exactly one thing to happen as a guy on the internet, and it's for interesting and funny shit to happen. And the second you touch that button that ends the call by saying shit that you shouldn't say,
it's over.
Then it's over. And it would require that to be so much funnier than what could happen otherwise. You've been on my show. I've now been on yours. It hasn't happened. This should be a lesson to Aaron Imholt. The best idea he could ever take is an idea I'm having right now. Anything I'm saying would be the best move he's ever done. And that's why I know his dumb ass won't do it. So here's what I'm asking for the next 30 days, where Aaron should be off air, where Aaron should be getting his effects in order and trying to rehabilitate his image. I'm asking the Killstream. I'm asking Ethan Ralph. I'm asking the nucleus of the sector to turn his attention to Aaron, because it's the one direction of heat that I know he would not be able to take. He asked the question earlier in his stream, right? You played it on the show. Who is Ethan Ralph? Show him.
I'm the dirtiest ape in the zoo. That's what I am. And
the title of the new book, by the way, The Dirtiest Ape in the Zoo.
I'm the dirtiest ape in the zoo. I love that line, and I said that on the Masterson show when I did mine. And he's a minor league guy, let's be real. And when it comes to playing rough and playing hardball, I'm not trying to brag, but he's not in my league, Jesse. You are, I would say, but he is not. And the type of focused heat that I can bring on him, and I just don't like snitches in general, and he snitched on me personally. And also, he's just I hate just phony liars, and he acts like he's God's gift to broadcasting. He's like, there's Stuttering John, and then there's me. And it's like, Stuttering John was on Howard Stern and was the fucking announcer on Jay Leno. Like, you're not even, whatever he's done since, you would never be in his fucking, same galaxy. Like, what are you talking about, nut? I didn't even know he paid for his own airtime. And he stole the name of a show, and he's using clip art. Like, this is the shit you told me tonight. Just makes me more convinced there needs to be total war on Imholt every fucking day. I said this earlier. Like, I get bored watching this stuff, but the crowd loves it. And they're like, actually, I like it when you talk about Imholt and shit on him. And I'm sitting there thinking, and money starts getting more too. And I'm like, because we're making fun of his goal, my goal starts going up, right? And it's like, people actually like me fucking with him every single day, and he won't like it because I don't play fair when it comes to shit like this. And I'm really just sick of him, Jesse. And the shit he said today was so delusional. And who's Ethan Ralph? Well, like you said, he's about to find out, and he's going to find out like some other people found out in some really rough ways. And I'm sick of this faggot, and I'm totally in. And I was already on the same wavelength. I basically said something similar earlier, where it's like,
hashtag total Dabbleverse death. And we gotta get it started. We gotta get it out there. Twitter, guys, go to there now. Hashtag total Dabbleverse death. It's going to happen. I'm telling you, I've done it before. I can do it again. I just need this man's help. It's never been tried, by the way. The nucleus of one sector meeting
going
with
against the other.
This is crazy. This is like a new thing, because there's lots of guys in the sector who've tried to make that crossover to the Dabbleverse. They see that there's money there, right? Just like you're saying right now.
Sure.
Alex Stein, Nick Rekieta actually himself. Nick Rekieta literally fucked Aaron's wife just to become part of the Dabbleverse. It's crazy. So there's a lot of crossover there. The Casino guys, they started talking. They had Aaron on the show, right? All of these people see it. These dimensions, you want to talk about a dimensional merge, by the way? These dimensions have been merging for some time, but the one missing piece was these two nuclei going head to head. You know, Aaron's biggest enemy for a long time now has been Patrick Melton.
Yes.
It's not going anywhere with that. Patrick, I invited to come on PodAwful secretly when I was going to be talking to Aaron, and he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't go on.
Why? That's money. Like
I don't know.
Let's just go through.
James Gartner sent $5 on Rumble. Yes.
Cosign.
Okay, that's to the point. Straight to the point.
Why wouldn't he do that though? Like
I don't know. And he tried to make it some sort of moral kind of thing. I'm like, it's funny.
Well, maybe for him, because if that happens, it's like the confrontation happened, and then there's no more grift, right? I don't like the word grifting, but there's nowhere to go. Yeah, it's over now. Like that's the confrontation, and it's done. In reality, you could eat off that all year, but he's not thinking correctly. But yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you this. I'm so into this idea. Here's how crazy I went on it. Yeah, you're friends with Mersh. You know, I like to make fun of Mersh on my show.
I do. I'm aware of that, yeah.
I reached out to Mersh.
No shit.
I sent him a DM. And now, listen, I get it. I'm me. So you're not going to listen to me as Mersh, right? But I sent him a DM. I was straight up the same way I am with you. And I told him, all I want to do on Earth is make the funniest shit ever happen. I want to blow minds. You know, when I show up on the Killstream, that's a crazy event.
Yeah.
So I told Mersh, I was like, I'm trying to get Aaron to secretly agree to come on the show. All right. And if I get him on, I'm willing to let you come on. I will turn my microphone off. I will leave, and you can do whatever you want.
Mersh would own him so hard, by the way. It would be unreal.
Sneak attack him. It's like he doesn't even see it coming. And I told Mersh this, and unfortunately, Mersh, he didn't trust me enough. He's he's not as strong as you in that way. And he started talking shit, and he kind of blew the bid. He started talking about it on Nightwave. So I was like, all right, this is never going to happen. But here's the thing. He's your ally, and Mersh loves talking shit on Aaron. And
he
Mersh has been wanting to break into that.
He's kind of got me into it because, like I said, he's one of the few shows that I watch because I'm doing my show and it's so long, and so I'll just turn his on right after. And I like Mersh too, and so, and he's usually shitting on Imholt, and so he kind of got me into this actually in a way.
Yes, exactly. There needs to be, listen, even if it's by proxy, there's got to be a team up here. I want Mersh in on hashtag Total Dabbleverse Death. I think it needs to happen. It's like the Axis powers need to come together.
I agree totally. And I think one thing people don't, and I didn't understand it for a long time. I mean, you're actually a pretty cool guy. Now, yeah, you do done some shit to me that I don't appreciate and still don't like. But it wasn't really the finger guns outside the house and all that. And I didn't appreciate that, but like it wasn't really that serious. Like whatever.
I gotta be honest, in that moment, I legitimately didn't even think of what that looked like. Like,
there may have been somebody who went. It wasn't me, by the way, but there may have been somebody who went and filed some stuff there and said that was a threatening gesture, etc., to the Richmond Police Department. It was not me, to be clear.
I heard about that. Yeah, I legitimately. Just realized like, oh, this looks like a first-person shooter in the camera view, and I did not think of how stupid that looked by going bang, 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 bang to a guy's house.
Yeah.
Legitimately, I did.
There may have been somebody else who said that was like a threatening gesture of violence towards their home. It was not me, by the way. It was not me.
I know.
But anyway, it was. Guns. Yeah, it got you finger guns, and I don't really. There are a few people that I wouldn't make peace with or be cool with, but there aren't many. And I like good content. I like good shows. I like to entertain. And what I've been stuck in, and there's been some good stuff too. I think 2022 was a classic year with the Medicare War and all that stuff, and Ralphamania and that January 23.
There's good moments.
Yeah. There is still a good period in there, but for the most part, I feel like I've lost my way since 2020, except for that one period, really. And there's still some good spots here and there where it became lock yourself in and anti-content in some ways, and you can't talk to so-and-so, or Jesse's not cool with Dick and Mersh, and so I can't be cool with him, and too much cliquish behavior. And I'm still cool with Mersh, by the way, and will be. But like, that's anti-content. That's not funny. That's not what made this whole thing in the first place, right? Like 2018, when anybody would go on anybody's show, and it might be friendly, it might not, but they weren't scared to show up, and they didn't have to have their home field advantage at all times, right? Like they would pop in.
You know what's weird? COVID made the internet a hug box. Like there's like hug boxes inside the internet. The internet was the place where you were supposed to go and be able to just do anything and not, I don't know what it is. Everybody became inside, and so the internet became their real world in that time period, I think. And it fucked everybody's, even the internet guys, it fucked up their feelings on this.
Yeah, it did. It changed a lot of, changed history, obviously, but like, I will say I made a lot of money that year, but it did. It made it a lot more cliquish and close off, and I think it changed the psychology of a lot of people. Like Josh Moon. Of course, I don't like him, but I do have a certain respect for him just to be able to keep Kiwi Farms up, right? Like that's pretty impressive, honestly. But you notice
especially being a baby. I don't know how he does it. He's a little baby, and he's got that little voice, and
he's always gets the stupidest things wrong too. He said Bojack died at the end of the show the other day, and I just lost my shit. And I'm like, okay. And he admitted to reading the synopsis, and I'm like, okay, so you read the synopsis, and you still got the ending of the show wrong. That's not anyway. Sorry, I'm touchy about Bojack. Not in the way that certain people are. But anyway. But I have respect for him. But you notice a lot of these shows, and I'm trying to break out of that. You're seeing this right now. Like the casino. I don't like those guys either, but they very rarely have anybody who's not an ally on there, like a full-on ally. They know they won't be challenged in any way.
You should go on there.
I'll go on.
Right now, all right, let's do it then. Watch this. Right now, there's an official call out. Clip it, guys. Clip this. Make sure the casino sees it. Even Ralph is saying right now he will go on if they ask him, you will go on the keynote.
100%. And there's two things I can't talk about. You know what those are. But that's
as long
not.
As they don't touch those two things.
Yes,
you're there.
Because there's no point. Like I can't talk about it. It's a legal restriction on my speech. And if I do talk about it, it's legal jeopardy for me, right? And
let's be honest about this. Like I know for a fact you would talk about this shit.
I would 100,000% talk about it if I could, a lot, and I would talk way too much about it. In fact, it's probably good that I can't because I have a lot to say about it. Believe me, sir. And I can talk about it in private. And so some people know some of the things I would say. Not that I didn't cause a lot, I brought a lot on myself. Let's be real. So I don't blame, everybody for everything. But yeah, I have a lot to say about it, and one day I will. But there's just no point because I can't talk about it. It's anti-content, right? Like I can't speak on it, and I'm not going to put myself in legal jeopardy over
I just want to be clear about something. If these guys, they know that you're willing to go on, and they're still not willing to reach out and try to get you on, to me, that's like Patrick Melton not showing up for the Aaron M.
Well, the last time we were all on, they had a bias mod. It was Jaden McNeil, and it was both of them on at the same time, and I absolutely wiped the floor with them. And I think that they're afraid of that happening again because, I'm pretty good at the blood sports game, right? Because I'm the dirtiest ape in the zoo, and you really can't muddy me up. Like, there's no way possible to do that, right? Like, what are you going to say about me? Like, that hasn't been said. Like, you can't dirty me up. Anyway,
I just want to see cool stuff happen.
I would just do a regular conversation, though. Like, I don't have to go on there and start throwing bombs. We could have a regular conversation. Like somebody asked me about going on Imholt's show, and I was like, yeah, I'd go in there. And he's like, I don't think people want to see that. When obviously they do, by the way. But I don't think people want to see that. I would just go. I can talk normally to people too. I only get rabid or whatever when they make it that way. Like I can have a regular conversation.
The craziest part is like literally showing up as sparks flying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
If you're a 420 $20.
Thank you,
on Rumble.
K-Fur. It's good to see you,
Can't
brother.
wait to see a mass hold Coke W. The champ's coming for his head.
Oh, dude, he's gonna
Pause.
lose his shit. He's probably watching right now, honestly. I can talk normally to people like that type of stuff too. It's good. Again, good to see you, K-Fur, by the way. But I don't know. People lost their way, and it was me too. I had a hand in this too, right? Where it's like, you walled yourself off. People want to see us all interacting, and there's plenty of money for everybody, right? Like there's plenty of support for everybody, and you build your own support. You build your own notoriety or attention by going on all these shows and interacting with people. And maybe it's friendly, maybe it's not, maybe it's partially friendly and there's a dig here and there or whatever. But that's the entertainment, is the personalities interacting, them sniping from their hug boxes at each other. Yeah, I mean, there's some funny moments, but that's not the people want to see. It's like wrestling if there were no matches ever, right? You know what I mean? Like the angles are cool, the stories are cool, but like there's never any final confrontation or any type of confrontation or any type of collaboration. And that's what people really want to see, and that's what they've always want to see. It was never hotter than 2018, 2019 into COVID, and then it changed. But it was hot, so hot then because everybody was going on everybody else's show.
Well, we did. I killed Bloodsports. So yeah, Bloodsports is over, and I think it should be over. I think it is time for something new.
Well, I think there's a place for it. That hurts a little bit, I'll say. I think there's a place for it here and there, but like as far as me just going on there and yelling over those guys and them yelling at me, like that's not even what I'm talking about. Like I know I'll win that anyway, right? Like I mean, you can't. What are you gonna do? Holler over me? What's the line I used? I can't remember now. But it's pretty hard to do that unless I turn down your mic like I did to you. But I'm just talking about an actual like conversation, right? Like an actual collaboration, and it could be about something funny. About it doesn't have to be about beef that I have with somebody. It could be about anything, really. Yeah.
I watch Kino Casino clips, and like they'll be talking about something that has nothing to do with you, and PvP starts doing his terrible, by the way, even Ralph impression. Suffer, and it's like, if you're talking about this guy and think about this guy enough that you are doing impressions of him when it's not even relevant, you just think he's like a funny guy.
Well, he's my number one fan, Jesse, and Persip has confirmed this. Yeah.
You have to be willing then to say like, okay, then it would be pretty interesting for him to come on. So I hope this happens. I really do hope this happens. I do hope that this is.
They won't. You know what? I hope so, but it would be huge, and everybody wants to see it. Like,
but hang on. Then if you both, went after Aaron Imholt. What the fuck is Aaron Imholt?
Why are they protecting Imholt at this point? I don't understand. Like,
what is it?
Does he have something on that? I don't get it because I don't watch their show, but I see clips here and there, and I see the blurb that Worski. Whoa, we're woeing our buddies tonight, like you said in that meme. That I lost my shit when I saw that. We're really woeing the bros tonight, or whatever the fuck it said. It had me dying.
My buddies are getting whoa.
Yeah, that was it. And every promo is saying the craziest episode. Oh my god! This is the craziest. It's like WCW Nitro back. This is the greatest, biggest main event of all time tonight on Nitro. Well, you can only say that so many times, and it better, you kill off your base, right? Like,
I think I did bully them out of calling every episode the craziest episode ever, because I noticed that their most recent promos don't say that now. They were saying it. They kept saying it for a while, and they were playing along.
Well, they're scared of you, Jesse. I don't know if you know that or not, but
they're scared of you. Well,
they're afraid if you I know you lightly poke them every once in a while because you don't have a beef with them, but they're afraid that PvP fears you. Like, I mean, flat out.
Oh, of course. Yeah, PvP does. I don't think.
I don't know that Worski does, but PvP's flat out scared of you.
I'll always like Andy. I can't not like Andy just because he called out Dick on the Patreon thing all those years ago.
Well, you know what? I was mad about that because that was supposed to be a friendly debate, and we were all in Knoxville, and I know that Kyler was a guy in your camp or whatever, and kind of got that in there. But at the time, I was really mad because I'm like, what are you doing, Warski? This is just supposed to be a friendly debate. But he took it serious and brought up the Patreon stuff. And it was like a fucking sucker punch, basically, out of nowhere. And Masterson did not expect it at all, and neither did I. And
that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah, so I can't blame you. I can't blame you for, okay, it makes sense,
Yeah,
honestly.
I mean, listen, when he did that, when he called him out, Dick Masterson got my Patreon taken down years ago. And when Andy called that out, that was not a popular thing to do or say. Dick was still a well-liked guy. This was before he was jacking off the cuties or whatever. And that was, or I guess it was right.
No, that was what the debate was about, actually.
The debate was about, yeah, it was right at the beginning of that. But he was still a pretty well-liked guy at the time.
I did not take his position on that film, by the way, and I still think that's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen online. I'm like, why are you dying on this hill?
Do you know what that was really about? Do you know what the whole cuties thing really was?
I don't know, but I thought at the time, and I said I don't agree with him. I said flat out, and I still never did I take that position. I don't know why he did that. No,
I can tell you exactly what it was. That all that cutie stuff started happening right after the simp text leak, right after the juju stuff.
That's true.
I was putting out banger after banger episodes on Dick Masterson. And every time I put something out, everybody who didn't like PodAwful would go, fuck this is fake. And then what would happen is PPP would come and he would steal the things I said. And then when he said them, it was okay. And so then those people that hated me saying it would agree with my ideas as long as PPP said it. I don't know why. For whatever reason.
Well, that's a political thing. Sometimes you have to have the right mouthpiece and the speechwriters behind the scenes.
Which is why
right?
I was always like, yay, PPP. I was always on his side. I don't know why he hates me so much. I gave him his
because you lightly poked him or something. And
I didn't fucking do anything to the guy ever.
Well, you had the pickle suit. I think he took offense or something. I don't really know.
Why would a fat guy be mad at a pickle?
I don't know. I don't think he eats many pickles. Maybe he eats them by the whole jar. I don't know. But I don't know.
I thought he was upset because he couldn't eat me.
I don't really know why he took offense at that. Or I think he also thought maybe because the financial support of the show, even though he's the heart of the show, really, it's Warski is the one who brings the money, and it's the paying audience is there for him, even though he's a moron in my opinion. But regardless, he's not as dumb as he plays, though, at all. And he knows money. He knows how to count, by God. I know that. I know that about Andy Warski. He knows how to count the cash. And he has a leash on the money, always. And so I think part of PPP's thing was maybe Warski just edges me out and puts Jesse on there. Right.
There were rumors of that for a while,
and I think
as far as I know, they're completely unfounded. I certainly never heard anything about this.
Well, he's very insecure deep down, or not even that deep down. All right, it's kind of, you can see it on him a lot. And then he did that thing with Warski where he was going to replace him. That was all in the works. He tried to do that to Andy. No, that was 100% true. And Perspicacy's put out the DMs, and it's beyond a doubt true that he was going to replace him on the show. And he wanted Goblinson, and then he was going to do it with Perspicacity, and he backed out because...
Buddy.
Yeah, whoa, buddy. Yeah, then he backed out. You know why he backed out, though? It's not because he loves Andy Warski. It's about the money, dude. It's like, okay, I see I'm not getting as much money now. I think I can handle Andy, right? Oh, you're better now, buddy. Okay. Whoa, buddy. Good to see you, old friend. And, it's a business at the end of the day, so I understand his decision, honestly. But he planned that. That was...
PPP honestly should love me. I gave him his whole career. He had nothing. He was making fun of you, but it wasn't really going very far. And then I gave him all the Dick Masterson stuff. That's when he started
the
taking off.
Simpspiracy and the New Project 2 stuff. And
he just copied my homework on that. The fucking Kino Casino, Andy literally told me before they started doing the show, he wants to do a show like PodAwful. That's what Kino Casino is. It's a PodAwful show. That's according to Andy. I'm not making fun of them. I'm not calling them out.
Perspicacity created the Kino Casino. I don't know if you know that or not.
I don't, but I'm just telling you what I was told.
But his original idea, it wasn't. It was it turned into just A-Log, Ethan Ralph for the most part, and Nick Fuentes for the first 2.5 years. But his idea was more of all around, right? Different topics, different people, like you do with PodAwful, right? Where it's not the same person all the time. It's not the same group you're going after or talking about. I won't even say going after. Where it's like you introduce a new target or a new lolcow, whatever you want to say, every week, right? Every show, and it moves around. It's not focused, but they saw there was a lot of money in hating me, right? And hating Nick Fuentes. And so, yeah, right. They saw that economy and they like money, like most people do. And so they changed his original vision for the show, which is much better, like creatively, but they care about money. And most people do. And so, like, I'm not even blaming them, but that's why they made the decision they made. It was supposed to be a totally different show, like your show. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, well, even when they first started, they had like goons, they had jokers, and even calling. I know the joke there is that they're the casino, so it's like jokers from cards and stuff. But I also happen to cover a bunch of people who pretend to be the Joker on the internet.
Yeah, I've seen some of that. Yeah.
Also, like they've got the fucking the retard alert thing. Like I have the goon alarm. There's a lot of similarities going on. It's whatever. I don't have a problem with it.
Yes, you do. You can clearly tell. Not that you have a problem with it, but you've noticed it. Let's just say that.
I legitimately don't. I'm
not saying you have a problem with it, but you've noticed it. You're a noticer on this, right? Like, that doesn't mean you have a problem. But here, go ahead.
Let Perspicacity call in. If he talks to Jesse, PPP will never recover.
Perspicacity can call in if he wants. He literally did create the show. I don't know if you're down for
that. I believe that. I just, Andy was doing that show, Twisted Mind.
Yeah, I know the one that I let in and was responsible for, all of his money, and he thought I should be paying. Like, he would come on my show for an hour, and I resurrected his career, by the way, and this is public knowledge. He was getting 20 viewers, fucking doing speed runs of Mario and shit. So like, and I brought him back for my own purposes. Why? For money. Because I'm like, here's a name. People still remember him. I can rehabilitate anybody. I've rehabilitated myself many times. I'm like, I can bring this guy back up and I can plug him in on my show and make more money, right? Like, it wasn't out of the kindness of my heart, although I did, feel a little sorry for where it was at, but I did it for myself. But he got to the point where he thought he should be getting paid and part of my money. He wouldn't say it to my face or directly. He was talking behind the scenes. And of course, everything gets back to me eventually, Jesse. I'm kind of like you in that way, right? I'll hear about it eventually. Right. And so I could feel the turn coming. But he would come on my show for like an hour, mostly just promote his show. Sometimes he would add to mine. And then I would host him on D Live, and he would get my viewers from my show. And then all of his supporters were Killstream supporters, right? So in my mind, I was already paying him. Like, he wouldn't even have a career still if it wasn't for me. And all of his monetary supporters, and a lot of them still are like former supporters of mine, right? Like, I didn't owe him any money. And if you're a man and you want some money from somebody, you say, hey, I deserve some money. That's how you get paid. Otherwise, you don't get paid. Like, this is basic just man knowledge, right? Am I wrong on this or what? Like, anyway, that's what happened with all that.
Send Perspicacity the link if you want Ralph.
Yeah.
He's in chat asking to call in.
Okay, yeah, if he wants to call in. I'm really interested. Like I said, I would go on their show. I don't have a problem with that. Of course, I can't talk about those, two topics.
That should be a perfectly reasonable thing.
Well, what'll happen? They'll do that probably, or they won't.
They wouldn't. I feel like they would not. But
well, we'll see. You know what? I hope I'm wrong, and I think people would just like to see a regular conversation. If it gets heated here and there, that's fine. But I think people would enjoy seeing that. If taking myself out of the thinking in somebody else's shoes, I would like to see it, right? Like, I don't know. I'll send Perspic the link, but I
believe he created the keynote. I don't need him to explain it to. Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying, before there was a keynote casino, Andy told me that he was going to stop doing Twisted Mind because he wanted to do something like PodAwful. This was months and months and months before was ever even the thought of a Kino casino. That's it. I believe perspicacity and all this stuff.
No, I don't know. I think he wants to say something else. I don't know. He's it's fine.
Well,
like
there's
I'm not
people
trying
in
to
chat
start.
who are like, Jesse invented fire and the wheel. No, I did invent PodAwful, and that's all I'm saying is that. But yeah, when it comes to PvP hating me, I've never really understood.
Yeah, I don't get that. Like it's like the pickle suit personally offended him, and
I don't get it.
does he think that was a dig? It wasn't even a dig on him. I don't know. I don't know. But there's Perspic. What's up, Perspic? Can you speak?
Hi, am I here?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, you're here.
Chat wanted me to call in. I guess I'm relevant to this conversation. So no, it was not inspired by Jesse at all. We sat around and we wanted to do an interesting people show, like basically a lolcow roundup with a casino theme. The only contribution Andy ever made to the show was maybe the name, the Kino Casino. There were a few different names rolling around, but no, there was no inspiration from Jesse.
Yeah, maybe you might have been trying to call in at the time that I said this, but like I said, when he said this to me, it was.
Well, Kraksky is a liar. He never had anything to do with the show. He still has nothing to do.
Just let me finish. Calm down. When he
love lost between those two. Anyway, yeah, go ahead.
When he said this to me, it was long before there was ever the idea of the Kino. This was while Twisted Mind was still happening and before they quit.
Well, didn't he do a show that was like that with Kryler, where they would get
Twisted
Mind?
I'm talking about Twisted Mind right now.
No, it was called something else with Kyler. What the fuck was that called?
Oh, I don't know. If there was another one, I'm not aware.
Do you remember his?
There was,
sidekick?
yeah. Kyler, by the way, I like Kyler. Don't call him Kyler.
Right. Oh, well, I just call him Kryler.
I know, but I get along with him. I don't know.
Well, I don't get along with. I mean, I don't have any. Bad
I know, but some people take the. I realize, but like, yeah, I seem to remember some type of like, soft launch of a different show. He also changed the time slot of Twisted Minds. I think this was something to do with like beef he had with me that he didn't say anything about. But he moved the show.
Yes, he was very angry that you wouldn't promote his show. It was after your show.
Yeah,
remember where they used to get drugged out and sleep?
Yeah, I remember. It wasn't exactly a classic in my opinion, but
that's Twisted Mind.
That was like the everyday pill stream.
I swear it had a different name than Twisted Mind.
It was Twisted Mind. That was the one. Yeah, Jesse was on there plenty. But he would always get mad if sometimes I would forget to host his show, and he'd be like, "Ralph, you're not hosting me." Da, da, da. So, but at one point, he moved it came on at midnight. And sometimes I would go longer than midnight too, so that would piss him off. And I knew I was the big dog. I'll go as long as I want, motherfucker, right? Like, so I did have that in me too, right? So he would start a show whenever I decided to stop my show, basically. And if he was going up against me, well, he wasn't winning, so he would usually just acquiesce. So anyway, at one point he moved the Twisted Mind to like 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. This is one of the toughest things to pull off. Now, I've moved the time of my show. I do a different style now. But if you move the time of your show and people are used to habitually watching it at a certain time, it's really hard to pull it off, right? It's just really hard. And I told him, I said, Worski, I don't think this is a good idea. And then he ended up moving it back to midnight like a month or two later. And then, when you move it back, well, that's the same issue. The people got used to watching it at 4 or 5, and now they're like, oh, it's midnight. I'm watching something else now, right? So you can pull it off. It's just really hard to do, and he wasn't really able to do that. So I don't know.
How do you say your name? Perspicacity?
Yeah.
Are you the guy that one time replaced
yes,
on the show?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, okay.
I was convinced. Yeah, I was convinced into that one. That was a great decision on my part.
That was a horrible episode.
That was a bad one.
That really blew. Okay. Yeah, I always.
Yeah, well, when fat slob basically backstabs you live on air, it's not going to be any good. Remember, Andy Worski is in pixels on the screen. Everybody falls for the Worski innocent retard act. They love it. They think that Andy Worski, he doesn't know what he's doing. He's just retarded. Look at him.
Are you a gay guy? Everybody keeps saying you're a gay guy. Is that
true?
Wow, crazy. Okay, and we're allowed to talk to you right now on the Killstream. That's all right.
Yes. Well, I was a
Fascinating.
co-host. For
People
Ralph
are
for
shocked by
10
that. They
months.
think I hate gay people. I think I don't know. I mean, I'm not gay. I'm not Aaron Emholt, but like you know, I don't. You know, I do. I don't really care who people fuck. Like as long as it's not kids.
Well, Kraxky has fucking orgies with his pay pigs. Who are they to say anything about gay people?
Right.
They
Yeah.
got a 600-pound man recording.
Well,
an
that's the
orgy
other
in the
thing.
corner.
Well, yeah, people don't realize Persip Cassidy kind of helped build PPP's career, was the driving force behind it, right? And talked to him on Discord all the
That's
time.
an interesting way of putting it. Sure, yeah.
But it's true.
not an orgy. And by the way, Andy's a great guy. He's
He's a great guy.
No, he's a great guy.
This
Yeah.
is delusional.
He's a good guy. How are you not a good friend if you're moving the other guy's legs? Trying to He's like a
Well, they
What up,
paid
bro? You know
25
what?
grand for the experience.
Yeah,
That's
when you
why.
put it that way, you know, you're starting to make me come around.
$25,000
How in the world?
to hang out with PP with a 600-pound man who can't walk, who they have to load in the back of a truck. to
No,
get
they
him
literally
place
said
to
that.
place.
They're like,
He literally said that, yeah.
well,
And Kraxky, who's crying on the floor because his girlfriend broke up with him on a vacation, so they decided
But-
to get some black horse.
but let me say this. Also, why the fuck? I was explained why. But I'm like, the Bellagio's awesome. Probably my favorite place there. But like, I don't stay at the Bellagio because I can just go to the Bellagio anytime I want. And if I did stay there, I definitely wouldn't spend $25K on the fucking top suite
That
or
was
whatever.
just on the hotel, yeah.
Yeah, I know, but like, you know, you can
dropped a lot
stay
more money.
anywhere on the strip. I usually stay on the south end because all the MGM shit down there is connected, and you can stay at any of the casinos and just go to the other ones, right? Like you don't have to spend $25K on the suite. And it was explained to me the reason they did that is because the Bellagio.
Especially the Vegas.
Yeah,
of
but
all places. It's
but
not
the-
like a Hawaiian vacation.
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
beach.
But look, it was explained to me that it was because the Bellagio is like one of the top hotels there, if not the top. And it was explained that PPP basically can't walk more than like 50 or 100 yards, and so they wanted to be at the nicest hotel, right? So because he couldn't get around that well, and I think he's got a bum knee as well. He needs to lose weight. Like I lost
He's
100
in the power
pounds.
share.
It's tough. I don't know.
It is tragic. That does hurt my soul a little bit that he's so fat he can't walk anymore.
Is he really in a scooter?
He's got to be at this point.
I don't know. Look,
that
I'm not trying to
camera
get
just keeps
Jesse
getting higher and higher.
in a
and
beef with him or anything. He already hates Jesse for some reason. I don't know, but like,
higher. Well, yeah, of course.
it's just a
Well,
strange.
why, of course. What the fuck did I do? I don't get it.
Jesse.
Seriously.
People
What-
have mixed opinions on you.
I'm not
we were
saying you
very
have to
hostile
like
to you
me.
in the beginning. I guess you've stuck around long enough
All right.
where
Hang on a
Yeah.
second. Hang on a
Yeah.
second. Number one, he was not hostile to me in the beginning. In the beginning, he was the guy.
well, he's the big phony. He wasn't hostile
in the
to you to your
beginning.
face.
In the beginning, he was defending me after my appearance on the Killstream. He was the one guy to do
He was
it.
stealing your heat, Jesse, is what he was doing.
I know, but he actually came on He was a guest on PodAwful when nobody gave a shit who he was. I had him on the show. And number two, like I'm not saying he has to like me. I'm not saying he has to like think I'm good or funny, although clearly he must since he keeps stealing my
all your material.
and also it was very funny that he was forced to pretend like I'm a comedic genius after the pickle incident because that was the
Yeah.
way.
And we know he didn't feel
Well, because he's a bitch and he had to bend the knee to Kraxky, which was the ultimate humiliation.
So we did have to pretend like it. I only agreed, by the way, to the 5D chess. It was all kayfabe thing because I knew that would mean that PPP would have to agree that I am a.
Well,
fucking
you
guy.
know who came up with that idea? It was me. I said, just say it's kayfabe. Just say the meltdown is kayfabe. Everyone will believe it because they're retarded.
I mean, I said that to Andy in the DM. I don't know if you did come up with that exactly, but I think it was my.
Interesting.
Yeah, I said the exact same thing to him.
Well, okay.
Anyway, the point is, I'm not saying he has to like me. I'm just saying, why does he hate me? I don't get the hatred. That's all.
Well, because he was big dogged into letting you on the show to begin with. That's why.
Why
Like,
do
we're
you not want me on so badly? I'm good and funny. I'm a good guest. In fact, that was maybe one of the funniest things.
Well, it was hilarious, but I never expected him to melt down. And demand to walk off the show and refuse to do it.
Yeah.
That was a little.
That's how good I am at my job. I didn't even mean to do that, and it was still an absolute meltdown.
Well, a lot of people
I
people
mean, the pickle thing, not my brand of comedy, but it turned into something hilarious.
What was the comedy? You don't even know because I never even got to fucking say it.
What was? So you say it, Jesse. What was this pickle bit? What was the pickle bit supposed to be?
Ethan knows. I had a pickle suit because this was right after the Chris Chan arrest.
Yeah.
And I was doing a show that was supposed to say that Ethan now had the spirit of Chris Chan inside him. And if you don't know Chris Chan history, it won't make any sense to you. But Chris Chan, one of the funniest things that ever happened to Chris Chan was a guy in a pickle suit stole his girlfriend from him. And so it was a bit for my show. I had bought this fucking pickle suit and then it didn't show up on time for the episode. So I just had this fucking pickle suit sitting there for no reason. And I get invited on Kino Casino. By the way, I was invited on to talk about Dick Masterson and give all the deets about him. And we never got to any of it because of PvP's meltdown. And I just put the pickle suit on there was nothing.
It's like absurdist comedy, right? It's just absurd.
Retarded.
Yeah.
It's just retarded. That's why it's so insane that he had that reaction to it, is that it literally meant nothing. Like, you're not going to ever get it out of me that I think the pickle became funny. It was not funny.
Yes. Originally when I saw it, you were trying to bomb the show, but
that's so stupid. That's so stupid. See, this is the.
But it didn't make it past about.
Listen,
people
you're not
always think that about you,
honest.
Jesse.
You are not that different than PPP in that you're one of these people that fears.
You don't know me.
I know you well enough. I know.
Now you know who I am. Okay.
All right, now wait, hold on. Let's one at a time.
The second I know that you're the guy that was on the Kino Casino that one time, I know who you are. I just have to make sure. Sometimes I can't keep track of all the fucking sector people. Sorry. Anyway, the point I'm making is the idea that I'm going to bomb it. This is an idea of fear. I want to come on and do funny shit. And we're talking about a topic that I happen to know a lot about. Juju the cow. I wanted to go on that show and finally say publicly all that shit that I've been trying to say for years. And once again, it didn't happen because of some stupid meltdown. But this thing where I'm secretly doing something that's going to hurt you, that's fear. And you're not that different than PvP in that you had it too.
I didn't say I had any fear of anything. I would have let you go.
You did say it. You did say it because
when I saw you in the pickle suit, I thought, well, this is going to be, he's going to pop on.
But people have that. Well, let me say this. Hold on, Jesse, let me say this.
Well, because that's your sense of humor.
Yeah, wait.
No, it isn't.
People have this. Wait, gentlemen.
By the way,
I like you're getting this upset.
And by the way,
it's a big smile.
And by the way.
Well, now you're animated.
By the way,
you used to be
go ahead. All right, gentlemen, one at a time, and then I want to say something.
By the way, you don't know anything about me. That's the real issue. You have this fear because
I don't know anything about
right.
you.
I agree. You had this fear because you've heard things. You've heard these little whispers and mumbles, and Ethan knows this all too well. He used to believe this shit and knows now who I am.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Your understanding of what I'm getting up to is this terror?
I see that you're trying to do stuff.
I'm a book. I was not trying to do anything. I was wearing a pickle.
No, I mean, I see that sometimes you're trying to just get things to pop off. I get all that.
But I was literally doing nothing. I was literally doing nothing.
But let me say this. You said it a little bit already. Like, you have that reputation. It's unearned, really, of like, Jesse's going to come in and he's trying to fuck up my show or embarrass me or, go into business for himself is a wrestling term, right? And it's a pejorative. So you have this reputation of, he's going to double cross me, he's going to stab me in the back, or he's not honorable, or what. I have that reputation too, somewhat. But if I agree to terms on an interview or like what we're going to do, like, I don't double cross people on air. Like, that's not what I do.
I say just go with it. Ralph knows you. Ralph, you've worked with me a lot over the years. Would you think that I would ever tell somebody to pull Jesse off the air? And that would happen.
Well, it made PPP look like a petulant child, and he wasn't even
pulled PPP off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I never expected him to have a full-blown meltdown like that in the middle of the stream and then get cucked by Worski and humiliate himself.
It was insane to me.
Kingston sent $3. Whatever happened to Surfer? Surfer and Kyler should do a show trolling the casino.
Yeah, Surfer, I haven't heard from in a while.
He's
I think
still out there. Every once in a while, I get a random like DM on.
He's still around.
From him. He's out there somewhere watching.
He's working. He has a job.
yeah, that's what I think. I think he kind of stepped back a little bit. I know he still probably follows this shit.
Yeah, Surfer never wanted to be a streamer. He has a job.
Yeah, and that's normal.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. You kind of have that reputation, and for the longest, I'm like, and of course, I was friends with Dick and all this stuff too. And it's like, well, okay, you know, he's got this reputation. I can't be cool with him, and you know, whatever. But really, you know, I've come to find out about Jesse is if he says something, he's gonna stick to it, and I think he's got an honor about him. Like I told him some things last night, and that maybe I shouldn't have even said those things, really. But huh?
Yeah, you shouldn't have.
But like what I'm saying, but what I'm saying is, it's like, well, I found him to be honorable in my dealings with him when I'm on the level too, right? And if one side's not on the level, you know, it could change, right? Like he could change his mentality, but I think he's got that about him, right? And maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. Some of my friends think I'm wrong. But go ahead, Jesse.
My entire frustration with the PPP thing, and I'm just letting it out on perspicacity here for no reason, but I literally just cannot understand what his reaction was.
Well, nobody could understand him. I don't understand him either. I mean, he cried to me for months that he wanted desperately to get away from Worski. Worski wouldn't let him do any of the stuff. I was constantly told every bit we ever put together couldn't go on the show because we couldn't upset Pay Pigs, or Worski said no because it would cause a problem with him and other people. I wanted to do Rekieta stuff all the way back then when we did the first episode. I had a whole script for Rekieta. I knew what Rekieta was doing. I knew he was doing the orgies. We knew about all of that stuff. He wouldn't let me do it. When I did the show with Ashton, I wanted to do that show with him. That's why I gave it to Ralph a week later.
And I
Ralph
ran
can
it.
testify to.
I ran it all, and this is when I was super, you know, in a super beef with Worski.
He wouldn't let me touch any of it.
The script on
Ralph knows
Rekieta.
I had the script, and I gave it right to Ralph.
Yes, you gave it to me.
Scripts? Why is there a writer's
Well, it wasn't. I don't
understand any of this. Why do you guys exist?
Wait. Hold on. Wait.
Well, because we like to have fun.
Look, I don't.
We were all good friends.
I want to say this.
Reality. We were all good friends.
Yeah, that's true. They were. But like when he says script, I don't work off a script. He just gave me the details. They do work off a script. Like they actually use a script. Godwinson, I know this, and I like Godwinson, by the way, but it'll be like legit script.
Godwinson writes his own.
Yeah, script. I know, and I respect that, but I don't. Like my stuff is off the cuff. He gave me
all. It's not a written script.
It's like a Curb Your Enthusiasm. It's like ad lib. Yeah, I understand. Where there's like certain points you want to hit, or certain lines you have scripted, and then you kind of ad lib the rest. And I understand that style. Anyway, but like. For the most part, except that rehab video and a couple of other examples, I like to do things just off the rip. And maybe I'll have a line I know I want to say or something like that, but I just like it to flow naturally, right? I don't like it scripted. And so, but Perspicacity gave me all the details.
I mean, Ruff, you had a producer. You don't have one now.
Yes,
right?
I've had, but I mean,
that's basically what we did.
Yeah, I mean, well, somebody help you find content, or hey, look at this, or this guest you should get on and stuff. I mean, that's a very handy person to have because when you're doing such a long show and you're trying to get all these people on, you can only do so much as one person, basically. And so
I don't know. I seem to do quite a fucking lot with just.
Well, but you don't have anybody giving you content ever, Jesse. Like, come on.
Every single thing just by myself. And
you don't have anybody who does any production for you, Jesse, at all?
No, it's
nobody that does thumbnails. Nothing.
I do my thumbnail. You think
the Pound of Flesh thumbnail was amazing, by the way. That was hilarious. I still fucking laugh about that when I think about it.
I do everything. I'm doing my camera switching live for myself. I do everything. It's crazy. It's just crazy to me. I don't know. And then how do you even choose a guy? You're just like. I mean, do you have a show? I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. You have a show?
Yes.
Okay, so I didn't know that. I thought you were just some guy,
No, I'm not some guy. I was Rob's co-host for 6 months.
That's not very long.
Yeah, he was.
Well, it's long for Ralph.
Okay, fair. But I mean, you know, I do like. I don't know how to explain it, but like I said earlier, in the history of the show, I booked like 93% of the guests. But there are some people who've suggested folks or emailed people on my behalf here and
the
there and
writers' room
stuff.
was a gag. People really think like it's like some elaborate thing. It was a gag. We're all just. It was a 4-people friend group where we talk about doing a show. We put some clips together. We talk about like what's going on, what's interesting, what do people like, you know.
By the way, there are some
Kinda like a think
doubters.
tank.
Doubters in chat about you doing it all by yourself, Jesse. I'll just mention some people saying.
Well, I know Jesse has
Name-
like
name
really
the other
dedicated
guy.
fans that
If
say
you
they
can name
give
another
Jesse
guy.
stuff all the time.
So I have henchmen. All right, listen, I have
Yeah.
henchmen. I have henchmen who will go out and do like, you know, I had a guy show up in front of Nick Fuentes' house the day a guy went there with a gun. Like, yeah, that guy, he did that. He's on camera doing that, but he's not. Nobody else does any of my show stuff except me. And it's just me making shit up as I go. Every episode,
Right. But you
all
had
the-
people like go to Ralphomania, right? When in the bathroom in Ralphomania, wasn't that a
Yes,
thing?
but those are my ideas and stuff. Like I told people what to do. Like it's still me. I don't have a writers. I don't have people coming up with ideas.
Well, the writers' room thing is what people call it. It
It's-
just was a friend group. That's
I don't know. It's just odd to me because, like, you
Wait,
know what makes it odd to me is when I watch their show sometimes, it seems like they're looking at the shit for the first time. Like they don't even know what they're talking.
They don't even
They
know
don't
what
because
they're
somebody
doing.
just gave it to them right
Somebody
before the
just gives
show.
them a mega full of clips.
Yes.
and they play it.
It's like it's really bad. Like, you shouldn't do that. It sucks.
No,
Well, you
it's
need to
awful.
know something about, and if it's you have to know something about the topic, right? I noticed that too, or it's because they don't really do like before my show every day, and if I get up late, you can tell because the show's completely different, and it's just me riffing on a bunch of different stuff because I didn't have my prep time, right? I have to prep the show for 3 or 4 hours to be on air for 8, 9 fucking hours. Like I have to prepare for 3 or 4 hours to even be able to do that because you have to have enough material. Now, arguably, maybe the show's too long. I don't know, whatever. But it just, you know, I fell into this slot. So, you know, if fucking Destiny can do it, I can do it, whatever. Yeah, I have to prep my own show for 3 or 4 hours every morning, or else it's just like off the cuff and it's not as good usually. So now today I had you as a guest, and so I kind of got away with some stuff today. And M. Holt, the gift that keeps on giving, I just stumbled onto his bullshit again today, and so I ended up doing like 2 hours on that. And I can do fucking 200 hours on him, and we're gonna do that, by the way. I'm just so sick of this fuck. And so yeah, but the show, like I have to prep it. And
Jesse, did you hear the interview with Aaron on Ralph's show?
Yes, I did.
I'm there.
yeah, he's on that. That's him and Godwinson. We
I
said,
remember
That's
God.
me and Godwinson on there. Yeah.
Was
and
there
I told
another
him we said
Yes,
it.
it's me.
Yeah.
The other guy was me.
Oh, I thought there was 3 guys.
Well, I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was me, Persip, and Godwinson. And I'd
Yeah,
already told.
I'm vaguely aware of who you are. I'm not trying to pretend anything here, just to be clear. I'm vaguely aware of who you are. I remember you when you hosted the Kino Casino, and I think we've
Wow, that was
spoken-
garbage. I wish nobody remembered
Yeah,
that.
I'm pretty sure you and I have spoken on this very show
Yes,
before in the
many
past.
times.
Yes, it's just, you know what it is. It literally is just your name is hard for me to remember, and so I don't remember you as a guy. But
We've come
it's-
across each other many times.
yeah,
over
I'm
the years.
sure. I'm sure. But you know, I just don't keep track, and
Well, I don't even remember really.
I'm literally retarded, and also I don't know, like I don't remember
Fair.
shit from the same day, so it's not an insult.
But the
I
only
don't-
scripts I've used over the years, besides that rehab video, are scripts for Xanax. So that's the only thing. That's the only scripts that
All right,
I've
let me
used.
ask you about that, Ethan. Now you went to the rehab. You went there for booze and drugs, right? Like,
Well, yeah. I mean, I was prescribed the medication, but obviously I was not.
well, that's my question: is how does that work? So you went to rehab for drugs. Now you still are prescribed to certain things, right?
Well, I mean, I could get another prescription. It's Mexico, dude.
Right.
So no, I'm not taking them now, and I was weaned
You are
off.
not on
I
any
hope
prescription, anything.
No,
or-
I'm not. You have to be slowly weaned off benzos, and you can. I had told them to go as fast as they could, and unfortunately, I have a lot of experience doing this tapering. You can die if you don't do it right or have a seizure, and you don't want to have a seizure, believe me. And so I know a bit about how to do it on my own, but I wanted to do it right in rehab because I can actually do it myself. But if you'll notice, like I did it.
Where are you on the meter? Where are you on the meter? Are you sober as a judge?
I would. Well, when I said that, I was completely fucking trashed. So no, I'm completely sober now. But if you'll notice, I still went pretty fast with the taper. So my speech is not fully where it should be. So I had that tick earlier, like Worski with the stutter. I don't normally ever have that happen, but I tried
to be very nice, and when you were stuttering, I tried not to scream over top of you and read out a super chat.
But you notice it's not happening much. So like I didn't go too fast, I don't think, but I told them I wanted to go fast. So I'm still not quite 100%. I would say probably about 90. As far as I'm 100% clean, but about 90% as far as like benzodiazepine withdrawal syndrome is terrible. And you can die from it. You can have a seizure, and it's just like a terrible like mental state as well. Depersonalization, suicidal ideation, and it's the hardest drug class to quit. Period. It's easier to quit heroin than it is Xanax and Valium and shit like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm not just saying that. Like, it's proven by doctors. So, I wanted to do it right. And so, if I change my mind, I could just walk down the street or get in my car and go down to the doctor and say, hey, I want some more Xanax, and they would write me a prescription. I mean, that's just how it works in Mexico.
Mexico.
Yeah, and the first time I could have them write me. That's just how it works. I could say I want some Trenbolone or whatever the fuck, or HGH, and they would write that shit too. Like, it doesn't matter. I remember when I first got them in Mexico, I said, hey, I used to have this script in America, and I'm in Mexico now. Can you write me a script for Xanax? And they said, yeah, no problem. And most of the time they don't even that's just how it is in Mexico. You don't have to buy it off the street. You just go to a doctor. You pay 70 pesos, which is like $3.50 to see the doctor, general doctor, and he writes you a prescription.
Well, that brings me to my final question. After you agreed to come on PodAwful and you announced that you're going to rehab and we made our alliance, Trump decided to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. I believe these were connected events. I do believe that was some sort of dear God
serendipitous. Yes.
Yeah, it was very serendipitous. And so now you live right there on the Gulf. I mean, you're right there in Merida, right?
Yes, I do live. Well, technically, Progresso is actually on the Gulf, so I'm about 20, 30 miles away from the Gulf. Yeah. I'm in the Yucatan, basically.
You're now in the Gulf of America, and what's got to happen to bring you back? What is the? We got to get you out of Mexico because number one, you've got too much temptation there, obviously.
Dude, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I haven't, I've been doing great, but man, this is a different place, man. I don't know what to say. I love Mexico, but also it's like sometimes it's too much freedom, if you know what I mean. And it's like it's just a different world. And yeah, it's kind of, I've had problems with Xanax earlier in my life, but in America, it's more controlled, or you have to buy off the street. Here, you just go to the doctor and say, hey, I think I need this or whatever. And that's like, okay, well, here you go. So I do have some plans to possibly move back to the U.S. I won't be announcing them on the show or anything like that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me that's a good idea. It's a lot cheaper to live here, though, for one. But yeah, I've thought about it. I'd like to be closer to my son, obviously. Tijuana is not the place, though. I'll say I had planned to move there. If I move there, I might as well
stay the fuck away from
Tijuana. If I move to Tijuana, I might as well just kill myself for real. Like, because that, you talk about temptation. Vegas has nothing on Tijuana, ladies and gentlemen. As far as temptation, it is a madhouse there. And Merida is one of the safest places on this side of the world and in North America. Tijuana is not, and the police in Merida play it straight up. And there might be some on-site fines to get out of some things, like it is everywhere in Mexico, which I prefer better, actually. but Tijuana is not the same place as Merida, and you'll find that out pretty quickly if you fuck around there. And I don't think that's good for me to live in Tijuana. It's just too much temptation.
Well,
And
you know, I've never done drugs or had a drink or any. I've never
Really?
smoked a cigarette. Never once. Nothing.
well, that's
Never
good.
Weed, Jesse?
Never. No. Fuck no. So
That's
especially not weed.
surprising.
Do you smoke weed?
Do I smoke? I have abstained from weed.
Okay.
But yes, I have smoked weed.
Because I believe it turns you gay. So
What?
Maybe that's what happened to me. I don't know.
I do think that I legitimately believe that eventually.
Well, no, I didn't even start
Yeah.
smoking weed until I was in my late 20s.
Yeah. Somebody said you have worms. What's up with that?
I have worms? Who said that?
I don't know. Somebody in
No,
chat.
Milo said. No, Milo said on. I think it was on Timcast that there's some type of study that people who are gay or some type of something that people who are gay actually have intestinal worms,
Yeah.
That's
true.
and that's what causes them to
That's
be
true.
gay. Is that
Sure,
really true?
If you take ivermectin, you turn straight.
Yeah, I don't know. I heard him say that,
I'm
and
not joking. That's real. That's real. Look that up. I'm serious.
It's a cure for the gay,
If you
ivermectin.
can stop sucking cock for long enough and you take ivermectin for like a month, you'll be a straight guy again.
well,
We'll see what
truly is
happens
a
with
wondrous
that. I don't
drug. Then
know.
I'll say.
I had this problem for a long
But yeah,
time.
I'm thinking about going back
Advice.
eventually. We'll see. You know, I got a support network here now, which I only have my lawyer really, and this other lawyer chick that I would fuck sometimes. And then I had dated this chick, and that was God, she was super fucking hot. I'll say, and I still have fondness for her. But we,
You put your thumb in her butt or no?
I'm not going to comment on that. But regardless, she's a beauty, but fiery, and we had a bit too much fun, I guess you could say. I don't think it would be as easy to abstain if I was to get back involved with her.
I will say you should. There's one thing you got to do before you move back to America, and it's of course have a child with a Mexican lady, and then you got to have one.
I
in
plan to
Mexico,
probably
too.
do that eventually.
I don't encourage him because he
You
will
really
go and
do.
fucking do it.
It's time. You've actually
Don't
been
encourage him.
you've been absconding your duties on having a.
Well, you
third
know, I just
family.
breathe on a woman and she's knocked up all of a sudden. You know, it doesn't. I'm pretty. The Rafa sperm's pretty potent. Even with all the drugs, no. If I hadn't done all these drugs, I don't know. It might just kill a bitch to come inside of her. I don't know, but yeah, it's really weird because they say drugs lowers your sperm count, weed especially, but it never lowered mine. I don't know.
Perspicacity actually has something in his sperm that will kill you if it gets inside you as well, but it's not.
Oh, an a joke. Okay.
What?
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, finish the punchline.
No, that was it. I do want to.
Oh,
I haven't heard
AIDS.
that before.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
You've heard that before because the likelihood you have AIDS is like pretty high. All right. Anyway, you can't be like, oh, not another AIDS joke. You're a gay guy. Yeah, of course you might have AIDS. Anyway,
Yes.
all right. Have you
All right,
never
let's
had
not
AIDS?
get-
Are you telling
No.
me you take PrEP?
No.
Then you probably got fucking AIDS, dude.
All right.
That's how
My
it works.
God, how is this happening?
Chance
Okay,
Spectre
look.
sent $5. Can Persip rate how attractive he finds PodAwful out of 10? Would he consider Jesse to be
I will hang up. Do not do that. I will hang up. Do not do it.
All right,
It's
let's not.
surprising a guy that dresses you, Jesse, is like so afraid of the gay. I can't even imagine.
It's
but-
dressed like me. Is that what you said?
Yes.
I'm wearing a shirt. What are you talking about?
Come on. Come
Are
on.
you fucking retarded?
Come on. The hipster sunglasses and the
These are
long
not
hair.
sunglasses. These are eyeglass. I have to see.
Are they really?
Yes.
No, I
These
thought
are,
they were sunglasses.
these are 100% prescription. I cannot.
But
see
why are
this.
they that
Oh, but
color?
they're
though?
still sunglasses.
They're not.
Jesse.
They
They're
look dark.
prescription
They
sunglasses.
look much darker on camera. You can. There's no sun protection at all.
Wow,
They're just-
I never knew that for this entire time,
They're
Jesse.
just blue. They're just blue. That's it. And I'll tell you why they're blue. You've seen my fucking studio, right? It's
Yeah.
a night. All this stuff is a nightmare. I try to focus in when I'm on the. I don't wear them any other time. Other
Well,
than
I
on the
started
show.
wearing sunglasses when my face got crushed, for one, and then all these lights, everywhere, and it actually just, having that light in your face all the time makes it hard to go to sleep after the show and stuff. So that's another reason I do it. Also, to emulate Howard Stern, honestly. So that's the other reason.
If I had thought about the Howard Stern thing ahead of time, I would never have worn these.
Yeah, you're literally wearing the Stern like style too.
It didn't occur to me. They look much more like that than they actually look in real life.
Yeah.
They're completely see-through in real life. It's just the lighting. But
I had no
I
clue.
would never wear sunglasses or anything like that. I'm not Ethan or
Wait,
Merch
what's wrong with wearing sunglasses?
Well, it is strange, but I don't know. I guess
Is
he was
it?
just calling. Was he calling you a gay guy too by wearing sunglasses?
Well, I don't know. Now I'm offended.
Well, Rock isn't wearing hipster glasses.
What makes them hipster?
Oh, come on.
Why are they that shape though? They're like John.
You're wearing normal guy sunglasses in your profile picture. Perspicacity.
It's part of the whole aesthetic.
Guess what? Those are now gay guy glasses because you fucking wore them.
But wait, why are they that shape though? Like they're unique. No, I mean most people's glasses are not that shape, Jesse. I mean, I'm just being honest, right? Like
yes, I do.
You don't think those are hipster?
Wait, hold on. Let him answer because hold on. Go ahead.
I will say this. I started wearing glasses like I don't know 5 years ago or something. I never had to wear glasses, and then one day my vision was just fucked.
That's how it goes sometimes.
I have a macular degenerative disease that it's making me go blind.
Milo has that too.
Does he really? I didn't know that.
He says he had it. He told me that in 2016, and he's talked about it before, but he can still see. But yeah, I believe he does. I think he's telling the truth about that. Yeah.
I had perfect secure.
I had 20/20 vision until one day I couldn't fucking see this, further than this in front of me. And they said it was astigmatism at first. And I went through every fucking frame of glasses and stuff, and I just hate them all. I hate having to wear glasses, but the problem is I don't want to put a laser inside my eyeballs. That's like untested. They've never done long-term studies. That shit's probably going to make you go blind too. And I can't wear contacts. The idea of like sitting there and sticking something in my eye is horrifying to me. So I only wear glasses because I absolutely have to.
I had no idea.
Austin Bear sent $2 on Rumble.
Go ahead.
Jesse spends over or under 2 hours per morning straightening that hipster hair.
Yes, you think I have to straighten my hair because you're not white. Anyway, so
now wait a minute. Hold on.
Come on, you don't blow out that hair.
No, I'm not talking about your hair. I'm saying I got some curly hair, but it's because there's some engine in my one side of my family,
Jesse,
I guess.
You must excuse perspicacity. He just finished reading Catcher in the Rye and his Kill John Lennon MK Ultra programming is kicking in.
Yeah. This is what I was going to say. I went through all these different frames of glasses, and I hated them all. And I honestly, I just hate having to do anything like that.
Yeah.
And I think there is legitimately some sort of gene that makes a long hair guy want round glasses, because when you really start doing the math, there's a lot of them. All I hear all day is all the guys I look like, and then nobody ever does the math and says, well, all those guys look like each other too then, right? So it's not just Howard Stern and Ozzy Osbourne and the guys from Oasis and John Lennon and Les Claypool and fuck every dude I've ever had to hear about this. And I legitimately, when I got these glasses, never thought of one of them. It did not. I'm not a music guy. A lot of those are music guys. So it did not occur to me at all. Think of that what you will. Did not occur to me until everybody started saying it to me in chat rooms. And then I'm like, I guess we just want round glasses. In all honesty, I think a lot of it is because of the long hair.
Yeah.
The hair gets trapped in the
that makes sense. Yeah.
So when it's round like this, it gets less trapped in the hinges of the glasses. It's less in the way. It was completely just trying to choose something that made the most sense. I have no affinity for the look of anything, by the way. If I could just be given a government issued gray suit to wear, I'd be much happier. I don't want to think about any of this stuff.
Well, have you ever thought of changing the look, Jesse? Maybe cutting the hair.
Have I thought about? No, I'm not going to cut my hair. You know why? Because it's
like a trademark at this point too, though. But yeah, go ahead.
There's a Tim Pool beanie element.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm sort of a cartoon character. I don't want to look too different from day to day. But I've had long hair since I was a kid. I've always had long hair, and if I'm cutting it, it's because I care. I have long hair because I don't care, and I don't do anything to it. The idea that I would be standing there straightening my hair is so insane.
Dude, I had hair down to here several times in my life, and it was such a pain in the ass because my hair's naturally it'll curl too, and I have to either it's just like a mess or it's like and it's just so unruly, and I have to do so much hair care to it.
Well, don't
and
you
it's
just
like,
get an afro, Ralph?
yeah, but if it grows out long enough, it doesn't look like a fro. It's not really an afro, fucker. It's just my hair.
Well,
is
you know,
all
you have
curly.
tight curls. I mean,
Yeah, well, it
you've
curls
had the
naturally.
afro look before.
Yeah, I did that on purpose. It's like the messed hair look or whatever, right? Like I did that on purpose. I didn't style. I just take my hands and do it like this, right, and mess it up because I thought
I
that
think
looked
if
cool.
I had curly hair, I would never have long hair because it would be.
It's such a bitch. Like, oh my god, when I was like 18 or 19, I had my hair about as long as you have it now, and it was a pain in the ass. And then I went through a phase where I was like gonna straighten it too. And you talk about pain in the ass. If you actually have to straighten your hair, oh my god, I had a girl doing this, my girlfriend, and she was straightening my hair. I was like, how the fuck do you do this every day? Like, this is a huge pain in the ass, and it takes like fucking hour and a half. Yeah, it's not
I
Is
good.
there
also-
a picture of this?
Well, if there was, I wouldn't put it out. Like, I shouldn't have put out the pictures of my fucking face crushed
You
in
put
Portugal.
out so many fucking You put out so many insane pictures. You're afraid to put out a picture of you with straight.
Nah, they have too much. You know, it's so funny because they post those Portugal pictures like they're owning me or whatever, and it's like I posted those pictures on my own. Like, you wouldn't have those pictures if it wasn't for me. So it's not an own. I posted them because I was like, wow, I almost died. Like, holy shit, I'm still alive. You know, I don't know. I don't
It's
really.
interesting where you draw the line, Ralph.
Yeah.
The straight hair, the long straight hair picture. No, that can't.
I
go
probably
on
have
picture.
one
Everything
somewhere.
else-
I'd have to dig it up, but there are pictures of me with the Eminem look though, where I had the blonde hair, and I've dyed my hair before. I thought about dyeing it again, but I don't know. I'm too old for that shit.
What
Fuck
was
that.
with the blue hair? What was that story?
Somebody paid me $600 to do it.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
always thought that was like a Destiny thing.
Nah, somebody said how much. I should have said 1,000. The person I was talking, person I was around at the time, I'll say, said you should have said 1,000 because he would have paid 1,000. But I just said $600, not thinking he would do it, and he gave me $600, and then I was like, oh, okay, all right, I'll do it. And so I did, and it looked horrible.
That was a bad look.
That was the worst look I've ever had. I look better with my face crushed in Portugal than I did with that blue hair. You talking about bad? I look like a fat dyke is what I look like. Like, it
You
was
look like-
terrible.
You look like the fat bitch from Orange is the New Black.
Yeah, it was bad, dude. It was, and again, it was before I lost the 100 pounds too. And I was like, dude, this was. I've seen pictures from that era, and I just turn away every time. Now I can't even stand to see it. Like, it's terrible. You want to troll me? I guess I shouldn't say this, but it's the blue hair. It's not the crushed face. That like is like, wow, I survived that. The blue hair is like, what the fuck was I thinking? That was like literally whoring myself out, and I did it for cheap. I should have charged more too, right? Like, I whored myself. I was a cheap whore too. It's like, what the fuck? Nothing
Look,
worse
that's
than
not
that.
even the worst thing you did. You shaved your head live on air for like $200.
Yeah, I know Bibble came up with that one. But like, who cares? I mean, I had my head shaved a million
That
times.
wasn't a good look either. When you shaved your head, that was.
Well, my
crazy.
hair's really short right now. I have the hat on. Tomorrow maybe I'll go hatless. But my hair's really short. It's not shaved all the way off. I got it cut to like 1.5 inches, but it's grown out a little bit since then. But it's pretty short. Cause I got to.
Do you have a big head?
Yes,
Or-
a massive.
I got a
head.
really fucking.
I
big
got a
head.
huge. That's another reason why I tried the long hairstyle for a while, because my head is gigantic. And when I put out that yeah, exactly. And when I put that's why I wear a hat sometimes too. But when I put a lot actually. But when I put out that video from rehab trolling about the Bills, people were like, he's using a filter or whatever. When I got out, I saw he's using a filter and. What? This is fake, and it's not fake. It's me holding the iPhone like close to my face, and my head is so fucking big that it's like. I know people think it's a filter, some people do, but it's not. It's just my head is fucking massive, and when the phone is like really close to my face, you can see that I have a gigantic fucking head. This hat is size 7 and 5/8.
I was
right?
gonna say I can't even fit in most hats. Like literally, hats don't fit my head.
Yeah, and it used to be 7 3/4, but you actually, when you lose weight, people might not know this, you lose weight off of your head too. You lose fat off your head. So I used to wear a 7 3/4, and now it's a 7 5/8.
Hang on a second. Oh wait, I've got the headphones on. Hang on. What?
They only go up to 8.
It's over 25 inches around.
What in the world?
Yeah.
You're like Megamind under all
And
that
see, I
hair.
don't know what that is.
That's
Okay,
big.
so
That's pretty big.
7 5/8. This is another hat of mine. Is 60.6 centimeters, and I don't know the. Let me see. Somebody could probably do it in chat, but I'll just look it up. 6.6 cm 2 inches. So it's 23.8 inches. My head. So. Yeah, I have a gigantic head. What can I say? And
28. Your head is 28 inches.
your head. I have a big head, and his head is 5 inches bigger than mine. I guess you could take a little bit off because the hair.
20 is big. Maybe your head is long. My head's big around.
Yeah, it's long too. So it's big, wide, and long. So that. I don't know. They're like, Ralph's stretching his face with a filter. It's like, I just have a big fucking
we
head,
gotta
dude.
stop talking. We have to stop talking about this because this clipped out of context sounds really weird.
Well, you know, that's not the. Anyway, I'll leave that joke on the table. But, yeah, man, let's destroy Aaron Emholt. I think that that's the goal out of all this.
That's the real takeaway here. Hashtag total Dabbleverse death.
You know, I'm afraid to tweet that out because they'll say I'm calling for violence.
No. You're allowed to put that. I've done it. You can do
Well,
it.
but yeah.
I got hashtag detransition Keffels to trend one time. For, like saying that I was going to forcefully detransition Keffels with a drill, which I don't even know how that works. Yeah, you can do anything.
People don't
with it
believe
now.
this, but I'm a little careful with my Twitter account because a lot of people want to see me banned, and it actually is valuable, like because
Right.
I've had it for so long. But you know what? Maybe I'll just
Put
tweet
it,
it out.
put it in the title of this one though. Hashtag
Oh yeah,
total Dabbleverse death.
Rumble. Yeah, they won't give a fuck. I'll put it in the
Rumble
title. Yeah, they don't care. I'll do it here. What did we not cover? I didn't. It went everywhere tonight. I don't know. I think we
did. I think we hit all the posts. I'm gonna do right now hashtag total because people are saying that I'm trying to like get you. Total Dabbleverse death.
Does anybody even know what the fuck the Dabbleverse is?
Oh yeah, dude, it's gross. But if you are over the age of 45 on the internet,
Well,
you
explain
don't-
to me what is the Dabbleverse?
I'm the wrong guy to really explain it, but again, it's guys who remember Howard Stern and Opie and Anthony romanticizing that was always really, really good, and it's just boomers. It's just boomers. It's boomers online, and they all watch Aaron Imholt. That's it.
They watch Aaron.
That's it. That's all that's happened. They used to watch Stuttering John. Now they watch Aaron Imholt. Total Dabbleverse death. I just tweeted it out at PodAwful on Twitter.
Well, so I like Stern too in that era, but like, I mean, eras change. You have to evolve.
Well, it's
Like,
great radio, but
yeah, but like,
that
I
was
mean,
30 years ago.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. If you never evolve, I don't know. I don't really get the whole Dabbleverse thing. I also don't get one more thing. What is it? What's the show? Who are these podcasts, or what are these podcasts? Carl from Rochester, New York. I have never seen a more unfunny fuck than this guy. And, you know, is it everybody from New York thinks they need to be on the air in some way? I just don't. Hold on. I'll let this go through. Oh,
we need
yeah.
the gay secret Rand voice from Jesse, and we need Perspicacity's take on Dick's betrayal.
Okay. No, I'm not going to get Perspic into that. He's staying out of that. But can you do the gay Rand voice?
All right, man, it has been so long since I've heard Rand. Of course, I did one time call into your show as Rand, and you thought I really was.
No,
him.
I was. I think I was fucked up that day, too.
You
But
were.
yeah.
But I still take it as a win. All right, so the trick is you do an Australian accent, but you sound like you have a gay Nazi secret where you're keeping a guy in your basement to fuck or something. So it's like, what's something Rand would talk about?
Well, Nazism, but
okay,
Anime.
yeah, or anime, yeah, lolicon,
Anime girls.
yeah,
and it's been. I don't know if I'm gonna pull this off because I haven't heard him talk in so long.
Expose, you just remember, expose the nose. That's all Rand used to say. That was his catchphrase.
Yeah, expose the nose is another one.
You must really expose the nose.
That's pretty close. You really had it down there for a while, though.
You know,
It's close.
It's Australia. I forgot the drunk part. That's the problem. It's drunk.
Yeah, he's always
Australian and gay secret.
Yeah, you need the blind drunk portion.
That somebody told me that maybe there's a black guy in your basement that I could perhaps fuck.
That's closer.
Now
It's
that
been a while.
that
It's
one is a
rusty.
lot
It's
closer. That was a lot closer there. Well, if you stop doing an impression, you kind of lose it a little bit. But you were very close there on the second one to full 100%. I'm trying to think. Oh, I was gonna rip on Carl, but he sucks too bad. I don't know. I just
Does
don't
anyone
understand.
even know who that is?
Well, I mean, he's some guy from Rochester who just is like best buds with Masterson, and I just don't get the appeal.
He's a Dabbleverse guy, and
Yeah, he is. That's why I brought him up. Yeah,
the thing about him is
he
not
A-Log Stuttering
funny.
John. Yeah, go ahead.
He's not funny. He's not talented.
Not at all.
He's got nothing. But what he's got going for him is he talks about the right stuff for the right people.
Yes.
You know, he's trying to be Opie and Anthony. He so desperately wants to be Anthony Cumia. And he talks about that stuff. And there are those guys out there who remember the glory days.
Anthony Cumia doesn't want to be Anthony Cumia.
Of course not. But, you know, Anthony, you know, he's got Carl, he's got Aaron Imholt, he's got some other people that are maybe friends of this show, so I won't bring them up, that are all trying to be him. It's very crazy. And so that's all it is. He kind of got in there at the right time, talking about the right topics. And so people just go to him to hear the things they already think about the people they already hate. That's all it is. Like, his show is supposed to be similar to PodAwful, where it's supposed to be like making fun of other podcasts. It's called Who Are These Podcasts?
Right.
I think they dropped that bit years ago. And now it's just like, okay, what is Stuttering John doing? Who is Aaron Imholt sucking the cum out of right now? That's kind of all he does now, I think.
HPEP says he's on the Aaron Roundtable show a lot. I don't know what
That's a thing.
Aaron
I don't know what that
Roundtable.
is. That's what I'm saying. Like,
What the fuck is that? The last time I checked on Aaron, he doesn't have any viewers. I get more viewers than Aaron.
I don't look. Well, we were talking about
I
that
can't
earlier.
figure out
Without
what his
clip,
even career
without
is.
clips, he thinks. My God, this guy. Jesse saw me watching it earlier, and it's like, what does this guy think he is? Like,
It sounds like morning. It sounds like morning radio in hell.
right. That's what I'm saying. It sucks ass. And you don't have more talent in the tip of my pinky finger than this guy has in his whole entire body, and all three of us do. Like, I can't even. I don't get
Listen, as much as you think Aaron Imholt sucks, right? And he does. But as much as you think that, it could be worse because he's this close to telling you like the weather on the ones.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Giving out the time. You're so lucky he's not telling you about local politics every hour. I'm not kidding. He has literally said he would rather go back to local radio than keep doing his YouTube
Which is
thing. It's
dead.
like,
by the
that's
way.
crazy. He is a lunatic. He is a delusional lunatic, and that's why he must be taken off the air for 30 days.
You know what? If he would do, you gave him such good advice, and I'll wrap here in like 3 or 4 minutes. You gave him such good advice to just go away for 30 days, reset. I went away for my health, but it was also for the reset, right? There's a scene from Mad Men where I believe Lucky Strike, longtime client of Don Draper's company, drops him, right? In their cigarette company. Well, he says if you don't like what people are saying, it's bad press for them to lose this client, right? And so then he puts out a full-page ad in the New York Times, and it's anti-smoking ad, and it says we'll no longer represent cigarette companies here. I forgot the name of their company, because we've learned the dangers of smoking, and we think it's irresponsible to the public. Like it's turning an L into a W right? If you don't like what people are saying, change the story. Go away. You can come back and do something else. And so, yeah, it was about health, but it was also about, I need this time away and I need to rethink some things and come back and go in a different direction. And you have to go away though. First, you can't stay and do that. You have to go away. But you can always change what you're talking about. But I don't think anybody cares about St. Cloud, Minnesota, except for the dorks that live there. And right, like, why would you want to go back to local radio? Did you really offer to make him a Pizza Fund style site?
I've offered that to a lot of people. I
always thought that was one of the most genius things I've seen from any streamer, like, around. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass. Like, I always thought that was really cool. Yeah.
I just had to do it because Dick Masterson got me kicked off of Patreon. But well, actually, there was technically a Pizza Fund kind of thing before Patreon as well. But I've offered that to Mersh actually.
Really?
As well. Oh yeah. Free, by the way, free. I told him we'll clone the code. You can just have it. You just have your own site. All you got to do is worry about the hosting of it, and then.
Well, shit, I might want to talk to you about this actually, if you would be open to that, because I was mentioning that earlier. I was like, well, hell, I should fucking ask him if he would do. I don't know if he would be. I mean, if you do it for Mersh, what the fuck? I would be a little offended.
Oh, that's my guy. I've got a guy for that. That's the one thing I do.
Oh, you do have a guy. Okay, it comes out. All right.
I have one guy for the website. All right, just to be clear.
All right, I think we hit it all. Where do you stream, sir?
YouTube. You can find me at awful.tube. If you type that in your search bar, it'll come up for my YouTube channel. Also, podawful.com is my website. I'm banned on YouTube all the time. I have tons of videos that are no longer allowed on there, and a lot of them are free on my website, podawful.com. And you can follow me on Twitter at PodAwful. Ethan, I hate to say this, but thumbs up.
It's always thumbs up with me, brother. Thank you. I was happy to have you here. How about that?
H2BH the show, everybody. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, peace out. Enjoy your night, brother.
Yeah, man.
Jesse PS live on the Killstream, along with Persip Cassidy making a run-in that I didn't expect, but it was good.
Well, the chat was demanding I called.
Thank you for watching this clip by Colonel J. This is the King of Bold here. Remember to like and subscribe. Juice!